Oh, yes.
Here we go. No, that's not right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the City of Newark Municipal Council's council meeting. Please stand for the national anthem and remain standing for the invocation by the Reverend John Bugg of the Old First Presbyterian Church.
Good afternoon. Praise the Lord. God of our silent, God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast led us thus far on the way, Thou through thy might let us into the light. Keep us forever in thy path, we pray. Now, Father, you said we know not to pray as we ought to pray, but the Spirit itself knoweth how to pray. He maketh intercession for us according to the will of God. So this day, Lord, we ask this day in the name of Jesus, that you would open up the eyes of our understanding, that we may know what is the hope of your calling, and what are the riches of the glory in your inheritance of the saints. For you said wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom in all thy getting, get understanding. You said, peace I leave unto you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let it be afraid. So, Father, we bind Satan today. We bind every hindering spirit. Every demon spirit that would come against this council, we bind it in the name of Jesus, Lord. For your word says, whether we bind on earth, you bind in heaven. And whether we loose on earth, you loose in heaven. So this day, Lord, we loose joy and peace and love, healing, prosperity, and wisdom. But most of all, Lord, we loose your anointing. For it is your anointing that will lift the burden from our shoulders and the yoke from around our neck. This is our prayer. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Those who agree said, amen. Amen and amen.
Amen.
God bless you all.
Thank you.
God bless you, Pastor.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you,
Joe,
Reverend
give
Bugg.
me a push.
Madam President, in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice has been provided to the Star-Ledger, the Jersey Journal, and to the public at large establishing the date, time, and location of this meeting. May I have a roll call of those present, please?
Absent. Gonzalez. Absent. James.
Present.
Present.
Here.
Osborne. Present. Buchanan.
Here.
Amos.
Here.
Present.
Madam President, just for the record, Councilman Amador is out of town, so he will not be here today.
I'm sorry. Yes.
For the record, Councilman Amador is out of town, so he will not be available for today's meeting.
Yes.
to the regular agenda. Council of the whole to adopt the reports of the boards and commissions.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Ordinance is on first reading. Ordinance 6FA is an ordinance amending Section 23:5-14E, parking by permit only in designated residential areas. This would add Ivy Street, both sides between Stanford Avenue and Stuyvesant Avenue, to the list of designated parking areas. Councilman McCallum wishes to move, second by Councilman Osborne.
Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Yes. Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
B is an ordinance amending Section 23:15-2 multi-way stop intersection. This would designate West Kenny Street and Howard Street as a multi-way stop intersection. Councilwoman.
Council as a whole. Oh, I'm sorry, the councilwoman. It's sent to order.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman James.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Next item.
C is an ordinance amending Section 23:15-2 multi-way stop intersection. This would designate 16th Avenue and South 19th Street as a multi-way stop intersection. Councilman Calhoun wishes to move, second by Councilman Gonzalez.
Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
D is an ordinance amending Section 23:15-1 stop intersection. This would designate Johnson Street and Herman Street as a stop sign intersection. Councilman Quintana wishes to move, second by Councilman Osborne.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Next item.
E is an ordinance amending Section 23:15-2 multi-way stop intersection. This would designate Avon Avenue and South 11th Street as a multi-way stop intersection. Councilman James wishes to move, second by Councilman Gonzalez.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Madam President, the items adopted on first reading today will be advertised in accordance with law, and a public hearing will be held at the council meeting of February 21st, 2018, beginning at 6:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. Ordinance on public hearing, second reading and final passage. 6PSNF-A is an ordinance to amend Ordinance 6PSNF-B adopted on March 6, 2013 by expanding the Ironbound Special Improvement District. Madam President, we need to defer this item until the special meeting of February the 14th due to the fact that we've only adopted it at the meeting of the 30th, and there isn't enough time.
Roll call to defer.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
B is an ordinance adopting the 21st Amendment to the Urban Renewal Plan for the Old Third Ward Urban Renewal Project. This item is we also need to defer this item to the special meeting of February the 14th.
Roll call, please. Two.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes to defer.
C is an ordinance amending Ordinance 6PSNF-C adopted January 5th, 2017. This is for the agreement for the conveyance of real property with the New Jersey School Development Authority, modifying fees to be paid by the City of Newark for the release of certain restrictions. This item also, Madam President, needs to be deferred to the special meeting of January 14th.
Roll call to defer, Mr. Clerk.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes, Councilwoman
Excuse me,
Chambers.
I'm sorry. Did we ever get a listing of which properties we're going to be able to put back on from the schools?
Yes, there was
There's a listing in the.
Can you just make sure my office gets another copy again?
Yes.
Thank you.
Resolutions, Mr. Clerk.
Resolutions. Resolution 7R1A is the authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for the use of a state contract for the purchase of 5 2018 or newer Dodge Durango all-wheel drive vehicles at the request of the administration. Council of the whole to defer action at this time.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Gonzalez.
if we have deferred it 3 times, why don't we return it to the administration?
That's true. I think that's a formality. It does get returned after the third deferral.
If I may, that is the council.
I'm sorry, Mr.
That, if I may, that is the council's option. But the reason that we have been deferring this is that the department is working on changing the funding source for the project, for the purchase.
Okay.
Councilman?
I don't have a problem one way or the other.
It's not a major,
Yeah.
but the what he has indicated is the
The
correct
practice is that.
procedure.
Is that
So
the council's pleasure?
we'll be more,
One more time.
yes. I couldn't even think of the phrase. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
7R1B is the ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for a temporary emergency appropriation for the Pequannock Watershed System security improvements. C is in ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for a temporary emergency appropriation for the Workforce Investment Opportunity Act. D is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for a temporary emergency appropriation to develop an innovative reentry model. E is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration for an external transfer of funds through 7R1E. Council of the whole to adopt.
Madam President.
Yes, I'm sorry. Councilman Ramos.
Yeah, I just want to state, I'm in support of 7R1C, and I would ask through your chair and the clerk's office as a follow-up, if we could get a breakdown of the budget, and this is merely the budget insertion, but I want to see the breakdown of how these dollars are going to be invested.
I do believe you did ask for that.
No, it's the first time I asked for it.
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes, Councilwoman Chambers.
I see the deputy mayor is here. If Mr. Muhammad could please provide us with the status of the prison reentry program from 2014 to date in writing. How many prison reentry folks we've had? What was the recidivism? How many of the jobs were part-time, full-time? If you can give us that in writing for the next council meeting?
I mean, we can give it again, but it was our presentation was made by Director Bay. I think it was in July of last year, which everything was in writing in regards to the reentry
Can you
program
just
and all
forward
that.
that
But we
to me
can give
again?
you again the same report.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you, Director. Mr. Clerk.
7R3A is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Engineering for the application and acceptance of grant funds. This is for the acceptance of the grant funds for the New Jersey Department of Transportation 2018 Local Freight Impact Fund. B is a ratifying authorizing resolution for the Department of Engineering for the application and acceptance of grant funds for the 2018 New Jersey Department of Transportation Local Freight Impact Fund through 7R3B. Council of the whole to adopt.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
7R3C is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Engineering designating and deleting a bus stop. Council of the Whole to defer action at this time.
Roll call to defer, Mr. Clerk.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
3D is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Engineering for refunding monies for construction permit fees. Council of the Whole to adopt.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
7R6A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for settlement of a workers' compensation claim. 6B is a ratifying, authorizing, and amending resolution for the Department of Law for professional services contract. This is the First Amendment to the agreement to provide legal services as municipal prosecutors for per diems. Through 7R6B, Council of the Whole to adopt.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 7R8A is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Municipal Council City Clerk for declaring the City of Newark as a stigma-free town. 8B is a resolution for expressing profound sorrow and regret. 8C are various recognizing and commending resolutions. Through 7R8C, Council of the Whole to adopt.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 7R9A is a ratifying, authorizing resolution for the Department of Public Safety, Division of Police, for the application and acceptance of grant funds for the Smart Policing Initiative grant funds. 9B is a ratifying, authorizing resolution for the Department of Public Safety, Division of Police, for a contract for the support and maintenance of proprietary software and hardware. Through 7R9B, Council of the Whole to adopt.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 7R12A is a authorizing and amending resolution for the Department of Water, Sewer, Utilities. This is for a professional services contract, amending the contract period for the design and supervision of construction and of standby generators installation at Wayne and Clifton water pump stations. Council of the Whole.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 To the added starter sheet, 7R8D is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Municipal Council City Clerk for hold harmless and indemnification agreement for the Partnership West Inc. Business Improvement. This Council of the Whole to adopt.
You want to sponsor it?
Yeah, they have me on as a sponsor.
Sponsor,
Oh, they do. I'll second.
do I have a second?
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Crump.
Yes.
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 8A on communications is an appointment by the mayor to the Caribbean Commission. Council of the Whole to adopt,
Roll call.
to accept. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Abstain.
Yes.
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 B is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Mayor for the appointment to the Federally Qualified Health Center Board of Commission. Council of the Whole to adopt.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Abstain.
Yes.
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 8C is a authorizing resolution for the Office of Mayor for appointment to the Federally Qualified Health Center Board of Commission.
Mr. Clerk, before we take the roll call, I received a phone call this morning from Dr. Wade. I advised him that he should notify council members by email of the reason that a director has been recommended as a board member for the FQHC. They are in the process of restructuring.
You have to use
Send
it,
us an email.
or either be
Oh,
employee.
he did send it.
Send an email.
I didn't get to my office.
Yes.
So I told him it would be up to the council members to vote their conscience, whether they were inclined to change their vote based on the information.
Madam
So,
President,
yes,
since Director Scott is a patient of the clinic, he's entitled to be a member of the board of the clinic. So in that event, I believe that there shouldn't be any objection to him being a member of the board.
I don't
As a-
think there
as
was
a-
any,
as a-
we were just like stunned yesterday.
As a client
That
of
a
the clinic.
director.
As a client. And may I say,
Councilman McCallum.
also, it's necessary that they have 51% of the members of the commission be, that they use the FQHC.
Yes,
So it's hard to get sustainable members.
yes.
People
that's
start
what he
out
said.
and they stop coming, so it's hard to sustain the commission. So
Right.
that's
Coun-
another reason.
Right.
You probably count on them.
Councilman Quintana? Oh, I thought you had started.
Madam President, could
Yes, Councilman
I just
Ramos.
want to note too that his resume has the wrong address. Still has him living in Lakewood, and I know for a fact he now lives in Newark. So I don't know if you want to update that information. So
We'll contact the administration to correct that.
Thank you. Thank you for calling that to our attention. A roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Council on the whole to appoint.
Yes.
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 yes,
Yes.
Madam President,
Councilwoman?
just for the record, on 8A and 8B, the only reason why I abstained was because when the interviews were done yesterday for those two particular members going on, I was not present. I was not present with Director Scott either, but I did get an opportunity to read the email that was provided for us by Dr. Wade. So it is a no reflection of the abilities of those two young ladies. I just wasn't present for the interview.
Thank you.
We are now in the hearing of citizens.
Madam President, before we go to the hearing, could I just, I want to just put something on the record through your chair and the clerk's office. A number of years ago, I sponsored, authored legislation related to earned sick leave here in the city of Newark. We're actually the first city in the entire state of New Jersey to have an earned sick leave policy. In that legislation, unfortunately, the Newark Board of Education, because they were under state control, we have a classification of employees who were exempted from the earned sick leave legislation. And I've been working with Gail Muhammad, representatives from Local 3 and 617. And now that the district is transitioning back to local control or has transitioned back, I want to work through your chair, the clerk's office, on an amendment through Ron and Elmer to ensure that that particular exemption is removed. We have about 300 plus per diems that currently work at the Newark Public Schools, which include security guards, cafeteria workers, and other classification of employees who are not covered through collective bargaining and are not entitled to the city's earned sick leave policy. So we want to amend that to ensure that our law does cover them. So
Yes.
I would like to see this amendment ready as soon as possible, hopefully for the next council meeting.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome to
Mr.
the
Clerk, to
New York
the
Municipal
hearing.
Council's hearing of citizens. Only those individuals who have signed up by the closing deadline will be permitted to speak this afternoon. When your name is called, please step to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. You will be given 5 minutes to speak. When you begin speaking, you will see a small timing device on the podium in front of you, which will begin counting down your time. When you reach the 4-minute mark, the yellow light will illuminate, indicating that you have 1 minute remaining for a summation. When you reach your 5th minute, the red light will illuminate, and there will be an audible sound. Please look forward, speak into the microphone. We are recording these proceedings, and if you turn away, we may miss part of your statement. Please address questions to the chair and not to individual council members. First speaker for this afternoon is Louis Shockley.
Not appearing.
Lisa Parker.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Lisa Parker, resident in Newark. I want to first thank Aníbal Ramos, Louis Quintana, Mr. Gonzalez, and my illustrious councilwoman for having them move the Ecuadorian election to Barringer High School. The only thing I want to say is Wayne Richardson and Bobadillo should not have even planned it after you knew in January that 20,000 plus people that don't live in this city descended upon a residential community. And then in April, when we were fully manned to do the election again, no one has said how much the city taxpayer paid for all of that police presence. So I want to put that on the record to find out how much we spent for police presence then. Dr. Cornell West stated, if your success is defined as being well-adjusted to injustice and well-adapted to indifference, then we don't want successful leaders. We want great leaders who love the people enough and respect the people enough to be unbought, unbound, and unafraid and unintimidated to tell the truth. Some of you have been complicit in not representing the interests and the concerns of the people. This is the hall of shame. Corruption, fraud, sexual harassment, abuse of power, campaign fraud, city contracts funnel money to friends, family, and donors. And so I urge all of you Facebook homers out there that every time I come here, you want to act like I don't know what I'm talking about. Go to NJ.com today to read about the FBI and the Housing Authority and all the corruption that's been going on. Every time somebody comes to you to ask you to sign a petition to endorse them for re-election, ask them what have they stood for in representing the people. John James, you don't get a pass on that NAN. It's nice that you come and tell us all about the programs that they've been doing over there, but why, when I go get an Oprah request, there's no paperwork on that partnership with Panasonic and the city? So I wanted to go on record. Who's paying the light bills? Who's paying the salaries? And what jobs are Panasonic giving to the citizens of Newark? Because since Cory Booker, they still owe us 800 jobs that they promised that we still didn't get. I want to ask the question, why is Hatchmont McDonald LLC? See, I read these things. In the last 4 months, y'all done earmarked them $5 million. You said before they were getting contracts for efficiency, snow removal, recycling, all of this stuff. Why has street sweeping been suspended until the spring? And is the city giving the property owners a tax break for lack of basic services? The city is dirty and foul, and you should have followed the sunshine law notifying the public, because people are still being ticketed and towed for having their cars parked on the street when no snow removal is happening. I got a lot to cover today. I want to talk about the illegal posting of campaign signage by our mayor, and you're not supposed to be doing that more than 60 days before the election. Stop coming to our community, passing out your literature. I also want to know where the literature is being printed at, because there is not one printing number on any of those things, and it better not be happening at the print shop that you moved off-site on Halsey Street. The other thing I want to let the mayor know is that the people know that municipal workers are going to your campaign headquarters during working hours, working. That's a violation of the Hatch Act. Every time we come here, there's more and more news coming out in the papers about the corruption. I want to know, how did Kabori Tucker and Linda Juma become ambassadors for Newark that they could travel to China with the mayor to represent us? So all of this that keeps going on, people out there, don't go for the A-team. This is a sinking ship. Change in 2018.
Next speaker, Mr.
Madam President.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman.
First of all, Hatch McDonald didn't get $5 million from the city of Newark. They were involved with the snow removal plan. Yeah, he could say something.
Oh,
He wants to say something.
Go
yeah,
ahead.
but I'm not
Direct.
going to interrupt you.
They didn't get $5 million for the snow removal. This particular contract we just voted on was for the water treatment for the reservoir, for the engineering work they have to do. They were involved with the recycling plan, the snow removal, and the sanitation plan, but it was not $5 million, so it was about 200,000, and then this would be 200. So this would be 200,000. So it wasn't $5 million. So the most it could have been is $500,000, but between the two contracts. Correct? It was not $5 million that they were ever given.
I do thank you, Councilwoman, for clearing that up. I do
And
believe
also,
there was
just
a
one
question.
one other thing. The other person who was instrumentally involved in getting the Ecuadorian election process moved from Science High was Director Ambrose, the public safety director, and Josephine Garcia. The removal of that process from the Society Hill area is greatly appreciated, and I want to thank my council colleagues and the public safety director for making sure that that election did not happen. It's not that the residents of Society Hill are against elections, but as was noted last year, Ms. Kieles was also involved, and Mr. Bobadilla and Freeholder Richardson, that it had a negative impact on a residential area. And my council colleagues took it upon themselves to assist a community to make sure that they were not negatively impacted again. So they took it over to Barringer, where there is adequate parking. But I just want to state for the record, they could have taken it to Essex County College, which was the suggestion last year prior to them having it. So I thank my council colleagues for hearing the cry of the community and not pitting one against another. So Director Thomas, it wasn't $5 million for Hatch McDonald. So can you give us a breakdown?
Yes. I don't have the breakdown with me, but I'll get it to you in writing.
So just state for the record,
Yeah,
it's not $5 million.
Right.
I don't know those figures. I don't know.
Director.
To be honest with you, I didn't even.
Director, let me help you out. Number one, state your name and position.
Colleen
And then
Thomas,
respond.
Director, Department of Public Works. I didn't even really understand the question before you went on to about the Science Park thing.
Okay.
That's why I just asked
Miss-
Mike Greenwood. I didn't really hear it.
I'm sorry, Ms. Parker was saying that because the contract that was done for snow removal and recycling, I had mentioned before that that was Hatch McDonald. And she was assuming that the contract that we voted on for today with Hatch McDonald, that we were giving them a total of $5 million. And that's not the
true.
number that we are giving them. They're not in the millions.
No, we're not giving Match McDonald $5 million.
Okay,
I don't know
so
where
the
them figures came from.
$200,000 for the snow plan removal, they gave consultation for snow removal, recycling, and garbage.
Yes.
And so she's adding up that along with the contract, which is with the reservoir. But that's not $5 million.
Thank you.
Since he's there, can he explain to us?
Can you,
I'm sorry.
but also address the
The street
issue,
cleaning?
I'm
street
sorry.
cleaning.
The street
There-
cleaning.
There's
the street cleaning, yes.
There's some
And
confusion
recycling.
and recycling. Giordano,
So we want to talk about now, we want to talk about that at the special, because I was requested to come to the special to discuss that. But the street sweeping, we basically
Can you,
coming in-house with it. We bring street sweeping in-house. The ultimate plan was to use vendors as less as we spending too much money outsourcing, and we saving a substantial amount of money by bringing it in-house. We got 6 trucks in. 2 more be here before Friday. We're going to have a total of 10 trucks to hit our ward. We have routes that we're going to hit. We have streets that we're going to hit. It's the ultimate plan that we put in place to sweep our own streets.
okay, so in the meantime, residents are calling, and because the streets are dirty and filthy, okay? So in the meantime, as far as street sweeping, is it continuing on an emergency contract basis, or have we just suspended it because some residents have called and have been told that street sweeping will not resume until March?
No,
So
that's not true. Street sweeping will resume on Tuesday. We actually have the brooms out yesterday from Saturday. We had the brooms out doing Major Carters. We started the CBD area the other night. If the weather snow up off the ground,
The
we'll be
CBD
sweeping on
is
Tuesday.
for those people who are listening.
Yes, we did the whole CBD area the other night. 4 trucks went out.
Say what CBD means.
Downtown area. We did around Lincoln Park, Washington, Market Street, Broad Street. Those was the areas we hit the other night.
So
with the new
Central
sweepers.
Business District is what
Yes.
CBD stands
Yes.
for.
But we will go back into, we've been in the communities, we've been doing, where we had the major complaints coming from, we have been sending those new brooms to those areas doing it. So where we get a complaint, my office wasn't telling people that to march, none of the other stuff. They was to take the number, ask the resident, can we add them to our robocall, and give us the name of the block, and I was sending city brooms up there to do those areas where we got the direct calls to down at the office.
So we will be presented with the plan going forward and for the 10 trucks to do the entire city.
The same plan like I did with the snow, that y'all go have maps, y'all go have turn by turn. We have GPS on those vehicles. If you need GPS access, I'm going to give you GPS access. It's going to be the same way how we did the snow plan. We had the routes right now. We got the people in city trucks riding the routes, making sure everything get done. Or is it we timing how long the broom should be in that certain area? We're actually doing that today. But the same way I presented the snow plan is going to be the same way I present the street sweeper plan.
Okay, so the former street sweeping contract that was sourced out, how many trucks did they provide us?
I think 10 trucks, 10 or 8 trucks, one of those. I don't have the number.
So we're
offhand.
not having a decrease in the number of trucks that are being utilized, but we're just bringing it in-house?
Yes, we bring it in-house with rental trucks that we got. So when we was getting the truck, we was paying for the truck, the labor, the driver. Now we already paying the driver, so we just throwing the driver inside the truck, and we paying the truck fee, which they bill us a month for. And we
Okay.
save an enormous amount of money by doing that.
Okay, so what about recycling?
Recycling, we still have that vendor. That process, through the bidding process, was done before I got down there. I spoke with Law. We go revisit that and see the bid specs that came back, who was the bidders, et cetera, before we make that decision. But now we have Joseph Spagowski. Joseph Spagowski is paid up to date. We owe him no money. And he's been here. Galaxy. It's not under Galaxy, it's under Joseph Spagowski. That's the name of the vendor.
So is there a vendor out there named Giordano that has been contracted by the city at any
Yes,
point
no,
in
we
time?
deal with Galaxy. Joseph Spagowski, that's our recycling contractor.
That's the only one we have?
Yes.
Okay. I'll share a memo to you that was sent, email, saying that Giordano was owed some money for recycling, and
Yeah, I don't know
I
nothing about
told
that.
my staff to forward it to you, so obviously you
We
still
paid
don't
up
know.
to date with our recycling contract. We only owe him for the services he provide now. He not gonna bring us the bill until February 28th. He bring his bills in once a month, but we owe him no money. He's been
That's
paid.
just Galaxy.
Yes,
And
we've been paid.
so, are they going to, you're going out for new bids, right?
Yes, no. The bids already went out. They was back. That's before I got down there. So we go sit and look at those
Okay.
and see. But the bid did go out. I think it was 2 people who picked up the bid specs that turned them back in.
Okay. And just for the record, Mr. Clerk, can you please make sure that we do get a breakdown, because I asked for this question before myself last year, how much money was spent on the police department in regards to the Ecuadorian election that took place the second time in 2017?
Yes.
Councilman McCallum, I'm sorry.
With the recycling, there's no ill intent behind anything. I did it in public buildings. I'm doing it right now, and I think that, I apologize for the number of phone calls y'all get, right? Because I don't think no councilman get as many phone calls as I get behind recycling. I mean, not just recycling, behind street sweeping. Yes, it's a major problem. Yes, we go deal with it. Yes, the vendor contract ended on December, but the same amount of complaints that I got within this last month was the same amount of complaints that I got when that vendor was here sweeping. The vehicles we got right now are 2017, brand spanking new. So what we doing is we trying to bring stuff in the house. We're not going after vendors, right? So I got faith in those guys. So those guys could drive brooms. My job is to make it easy so the residents don't be spending all this money on services that's not being performed properly, right? So what I do is I take it upon myself and get stuff that'll help us, that'll bring it in-house, that I give more people jobs. Yes, I'm hiring about 8 CDL drivers to work on those brooms so I can have 2 shifts. Whatever we don't hit during the daytime, we're going to have 2 brooms going at night for CBD area. So I just want to make it clear that our complaints got to be about the streets, not about no vendor. I don't know those guys, right? I had no relationship with those guys. When I got here, I see bills. It's just an example with numbers. We spending $5 million, I'm going to cut it. Because at the end of the day, when something happens with that budget, it's me they go look at. So me giving people jobs, that boosts my momentum and boosts the morale down at the garage. So that's the area I'm going, not just with that. It's the same thing with garbage, same thing with recycling, same thing with mechanics. I'm going to bring all that stuff in-house because I believe that we could do our own stuff, right? And the guys do. When them trucks came in the other day, they came in on flatbeds. I ain't pay nobody overtime. They all came in, volunteered because it boosts their morale up. And they actually doing something, right? So the people that was getting change of rate, I'm not giving them change of rate no more. I'm gonna make them a motor broom driver. That's my goal. So, and the streets that I stopped was done after December 30th. So it wasn't every day that we didn't go out there. So we get a complaint, and we got 2 city brooms. We're sending city brooms up there, right? I don't rely on vendors, right? And I don't work for vendors. When they come down in that garage, they work for me. I work for the citizens, and I'm not gonna shortchange them. I'm going to do what them workers tell me to do. They want to do stuff. They want to be a bucket loader. We go try and get our own bucket loaders. We go try and pick up our own recycling. And the one thing about it that happened, like I wasn't even in the country. The vendor wouldn't even let us put GPS in their vehicles. Said no. How are we able to track what we doing, the productive? The reason I did the 12 vendors, I got 12 vendors for snow. I told them, y'all cannot work for me unless you put GPS in your vehicles. All 50 of those vehicles have GPS in them. I told them they cannot push no snow in the city unless they put GPS in these vehicles. I shouldn't have to argue with no vendor, right? I shouldn't have to argue with anybody. When I say the services that we want, we should get it. We went to a rental company, we got 5. So if one don't work, we go to the next one. That won't work, we go to the next one. All came GPS in their vehicles. They down at the garage right now, and they've been down there all week. They stand in Kenilworth Inn. Every day, they working with different people, taking them, showing them the daily function of those brooms. Everything up to date. So, like with Jack, like I have the answers to street sweep because it is my plan right? My plan, I'm a disruptive leader. So if you've been down there 30 years doing it this way, I'm going to disrupt it. I'm going to do things my way because I think it'll move better or is efficient. If your way working, we going to keep it your way working. But me, got a whole department full of vendors that have to stop. And when we need more vehicles, we can't get criticized as a department for wanting more vehicles. Recycling is a big money maker. Since I've been down here, we only receive $100,000 in rebates. That is insane. That is insane. We pay this guy $133,000 a month for 12 months. He in the millions. We get not even $100,000. One time I called him and said something. I got a $3,000 check. What's this for? Recycling, you make money off it. So while we got Mac McDonald doing recycling, because they go do an internal study, right, that we go start picking up our own street sweeping, and we had a conversation with Housing Authority. We go work with Housing Authority so they could start recycling, and we had a meeting with NDD, which they agreed to start recycling too. And we want to bring that stuff in-house so when I need vehicles, I don't have to argue with nobody, right? I don't have to say nothing to nobody, right? We could just go to a trust fund and say we need vehicles because we made money in the department. That department don't have nothing coming back to the department. Everything goes out. Street sweeping, $1.5 million. Everything go out. This is a fact. We spending too much money on that stuff. For me to spend $50,000 just in the CBD area, that's insane. And I got 6 motor brooms sitting in the garage at night. So what I do, we don't need CBD area. Supervisors, get 2 drivers, they got to do CBD area at night. Whatever's not done, whatever's cars in the way, send me an email. We'll deal with police and the North Parking Authority, and we'll deal with it like that. How many times you email me about Lincoln Park? And guess what? When you email me, the street sweepers was doing it.
On a regular
They was
basis.
actually out there sweeping. It don't look like nothing's being done. We trying to do this in-house, and I'm going to break my back, break my neck to bring this stuff in-house. And I got faith in those guys, and that's who I represent. I represent those guys. I don't represent no vendor. I have no interest in none of these vendors. I have faith in these guys. And we're not going to be punked. So vendors can't come to y'all and tell y'all what we not doing and y'all jump on my back. Because y'all should have the courage to say whatever Mr. Thomas doing, it got to be correct. Pat Council had a problem, Talib had a problem, and I had a problem. It can't be all 3 directors with the same issue and all of us be wrong. So what I did, we ain't renewing no contract, I'm not doing no resolution, and they can't send no damn consultant to talk to me. They can't do that. They cannot. This is what they did, right? We'll tell you what else they did. And I jumped in the manager's butt. You know what he did? Brought me bid specs to give to purchasing. That's a fact. What I did wrong, I cursed him out and I ain't take it. But when that manager brought it to me, I should have took it from him. That's what happened. That's what happened. That's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact. The consultant came to see me. That is a fact. Asking me for merchant extension, and I said no. I'm not doing it.
Any other comments for the director? Councilman Gonzalez.
No, I just want to talk to him on the side here.
The question is,
Director?
we don't
Show you the
we don't
respect
answer-
issue?
we
The
don't-
vendors so mad didn't even
Excuse
speak
me,
when they came in
Director.
here.
The councilwoman is speaking.
We don't
And we got more faith in
respond to
vendors.
the vendors either, Director. We respond to the residents who give us the
Yes,
calls.
but everything
and we
that
pass them
came to
on
me,
to you.
the last council meetings that been going on, it was the vendor's name being mentioned. Like there's a problem with the vendor. Why the vendor ain't do this? When the vendor was here, our damn street still was dirty. We still got the same amount of complaints. Nothing changed. Nothing. Nothing they changed. We bringing this stuff in the house. We go bring it in house. And I would get cursed out by council, by city residents. If something not done, it's just like with garbage. When the garbage not picked up, y'all call me, it get done that same night. We got motor brooms on the daytime and on the nighttime. And them people in the motor brooms, they go jump in them at night to 6 in the morning, sweeping.
So my question is, we don't want to have to just keep calling you because we just want to know when the plan is going to be put in place.
The plan
so
is in
it's
place.
done automatically.
The plan is in place. Them brooms came and hit Sunday, 8 o'clock at night. We went and opened the garage for them. They backed them up. When Tuesday hit, if there's snow up off the ground, all those trucks will be sweeping Tuesday. What we didn't do, we didn't uplift no plan. We just been going out there sweeping blocks where we got the majority of complaints from. Nobody downtown district can say they got the blocks that get swept. 11th Street, we did the whole block. Clinton Avenue, Avon, Bergen Street, Elizabeth Avenue. When they out there at night, I tell them if there's no cars there, do the whole strip. Just like with garbage. Y'all email me and give me an address, I don't give them the address. If Smith Street ain't done, do the whole Smith Street. That's what we do. Through the whole block. I don't get them guys' address. I don't want them coming to one house picking up. We have a night staff, and I'm increasing the night staff by hiring more people, and we go pick everything up that we leave. We just need y'all support. When you complain about me, you know you can call my phone. But we can't listen to it, defend it, right? And then when we need vehicles, y'all sit there and argue about it.
So, Director, before you leave, I do want to congratulate the the illegal dumping department. The article that appeared in the paper, I believe, on Sunday, where someone was actually fined. She was caught and fined. And the reason I mention is, yes, the city, it needs to be cleaned up. I'm going to make a point, Director. It's true that the city needs to be cleaned up, but I can guarantee you and all of us sitting up here that all of the junk and the garbage that's being dumped in back alleys and back streets does not come from Newarkers. It comes from people who live in the suburb, who come to Newark and dump their garbage. So when you talk about making money, this can be a money maker, but if we don't increase the size of your illegal dumping
Task force.
Thank you, task force. We support the plan, and we support what you're doing. But my particular concern on today is the illegal dumping. That itself is definitely something we need to bump up. And that's it. Councilman Quintana.
Director, around the precincts,
Excuse me?
around the precincts, the police precincts, one Lincoln, that, we have to find a solution to that. What happens is the folks that clean the building, they clean and they put the bags out, and it creates a problem of rodents through the area. So if one Lincoln, because I had been to a meeting at one Lincoln, I had been at one Lincoln,
Yes.
the North District, and what happens is the garbage is taken out and put right on the curb for 4 or 5 days, and it creates a problem of rodents. And as people come to the police precinct to make a police report,
The garbage out.
the garbage is just and it needs to have maybe a container where they put the garbage, because I had to jump in a car because of the size of the rodents was so big, they looked like cats. So again, if we could look into that. The other thing is the observation. All our gas pumps, the garbage pails are the garbage cans are all the way to the top.
Just say it again.
The Central Avenue gas where the employees
Traffic and signals.
Right. So we can look into those also too. But again, going back to street cleaning, other towns are just are cleaning. During the storm, after the storm, they were cleaning with the brooms. So I'm concerned. Also, the county has to do its share too.
Yes.
Because as a city, there's some county roads that have to also be monitored.
We working with the county. The county, they officially, they cut they street sweeping off, but that don't prohibit us going over there doing it. But even with the dumps at one Lincoln, we had a dumpster there, and we was asked to remove it due to safety issues. So that's why the dumpster's there. What we're trying to do is I get a better way of the cleaning people when they clean that building, or where the house garbage at, or if I got to send a pickup over there and get a couple of bags, I'll do that though. That's not a problem.
Yes, Councilman Ramos.
Yeah, Director, and we've spoken. I appreciate your responsiveness, but as a city, we have to do a better job on notification. Especially, we understand that during weather emergencies or tough weather situations, should be common sense that there's not going to be any street sweeping. What happened, I think, in this instance is that there were a number of days where the weather wasn't the issue. It was more of a contractual issue that prevented the city from doing, street sweeping. So for our residents, I think we owe them the decency of at least communicating when these dates are going to be canceled, and also communication with other city agencies and non-city agencies that that are tasked with assisting with alternate side parking, like the parking authority, police department, and with bulk garbage. Whenever bulk garbage is canceled, we also have to notify, publish it on the city website, do the robocall that we've been doing to notify people about the snow emergencies, because it's a lot of work for residents to take bulk garbage out. They expect it to be picked up, and 3 or 4 days later, they realized that, it had been rescheduled. I know the last time you communicated with me, I was able to work with a few of our homeowner associations, and they sent an email out, and that's, that helps us, but I'm sure there were some people that weren't on that email thread that put their bulk out, and unfortunately it wasn't picked up.
We work with IT with that. We went from 50,000 names and numbers to 143,000. So we are trying to increase the communication. IT already go publish on cable.
You've been doing the robocalls when like bulk is canceled?
Yes.
As well?
Anytime we can make a decision down there, we go hit. They gave us passcode and phone number. And
A lot more people are getting those robocalls.
Yeah. So everybody that called down there with a complaint, we do ask them, is it okay that we take their name and phone number? So we can add them to the robocall list, and all of them been pretty much, wanted that. They want that type of communication. But we are working on that.
Councilwoman Cheneyfield Jenkins.
Director, the issue that you said you've been getting the same amount of phone calls, well, they've exceeded what happened before.
What happened when the phone calls go about with street sweeping?
Yeah, with street sweeping.
We was tracking the phone calls.
I'm saying you have to have been getting a little bit more because
excuse me,
of the simple
Councilwoman.
Yeah.
Director, allow the councilwoman to finish her comment.
Yeah. No disrespect.
Without
I'm not understanding
Director,
before she go too far.
You're doing it again.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Okay.
Honest.
No problem.
Just wait. We want to hear what you have to say.
No
Trust me.
Apologize.
You don't have to be overly defensive, Director. The question becomes, there has been an increase in our offices and regarding the way the streets look, how filthy they are, okay? So prior to the former vendor, okay, coming and sending a contract to you by way of someone else, the question becomes, when are we going to get on the pattern of getting the streets back to being clean and the trash being removed on a regular basis? Because you said you just got the trucks in, you're expecting 2 more, so we'll have 10 trucks by Tuesday. By Friday, and you'll start back the process, okay, of getting it on a regular basis so that the city of Newark doesn't look as filthy as it does, okay? So you're saying that by us bringing it in-house, that you're going to increase the number of employees in order to make sure that it's adequately cleaned, to supplement what was done in the past by the outside vendors. So that is the plan that you have to present to us. We got the snow removal plan, so now you're going to give us the recycling plan as well as the sanitation plan.
Yes.
So are you anticipating getting more trucks if you're getting more workers? Because we only voted on like 6 or 7 trucks for you thus far?
8.
8. We only voted for 8 trucks, so you're anticipating requesting how many more trucks going forward?
Probably 2 or 3 more, that's it. I want to have a total of 4 trucks in each ward. Every ward don't get swept at the same time. 3 will get done Monday and Tuesday. The other 2 will get done in the lower part of Central Ward get done Wednesday and Thursday. So I know once we do these routes, but I don't think we need more than 2 more trucks.
Okay.
And we have city trucks in-house, so whatever we need, we can always grab those if something ain't working or we need to add to it.
Okay, so that's just with the sweeping.
Yes.
So what about sanitation with the garbage being picked up in bulk? Because, as the councilman from the North Ward said, people put their stuff out anticipating the garbage, the bulk day going forward because there was no snow on the ground. So there had to be something that broke down in sanitation, maybe before you came back from Hodge or whatever. But what do we need to know, and what do the citizens need to know that's going to go forward that says that the city of Newark is going to be cleaner because we're bringing it in-house?
We have to go to that ordinance and enforce that 10 item for bulk day. We didn't break down sanitation. Instead of me getting missed calls, I tell the guys to do a clean sweep. Some places we go with these buildings throwing about 50 pieces of bulk out there. So I don't want to get the phone calls that say we picked up, we ain't pick anything up. So for now, I've just been telling them to grab it. We didn't break, just the amount of stuff that the people was putting out is more than 10 items. So that's where the problem happened at. And I think since I've been down there, bulk, they only been canceled one day. So if we get a shortage of trucks with the vehicles on Wednesdays, I let them run till midnight. If they got to stay 2, 3 in the morning, we run into another bulk day on the triple pickup, I'll bring them in 2 o'clock in the morning to start having them go pick up bulk. Last night, the night staff started picking up bulk in certain areas so it won't be so heavy on the day crew because of the weather we was getting. So I don't think we had a breakdown or something down sanitation. It's just that we've been overpacked with residents throwing more than 10 items out there.
And are you going to submit with the plan the ordinance that would tell large apartment buildings that they have to have a certain size container in order for the garbage not to overflow?
I met with Housing Authority. I told him his garbage cans are too small. He agreed to buy new ones. I gave y'all the pictures a couple of weeks ago.
I'm talking about like Villa Victoria, New Community.
Yes.
Are we going to mandate those privately owned buildings?
I gave that to city clerk with a little drafted letter last time I came up here and spoke. A copy of the letter that I was going to send out to these people, and I gave y'all pictures of the boxes.
I remember the pictures in the boxes, but I think it should be not just a letter coming from you, but I think we have to put it in the form of an ordinance.
You said that. You said you was going to do an ordinance. That's why I
So
said
I'm saying, did you give that information to the city clerk, the language?
You have it.
Okay, so Mr. Clerk, you have the language for mandating large apartment buildings of a certain size, maybe 200 units or more, 150 units or more, having a certain number of receptacles in the size they should be?
Councilwoman, let us sit with Mr. Thomas and work out the issue for you.
Okay. Because it has to be strong enough so that they adhere to it.
Councilman Osborne.
Yeah, colleague, I just wanted to commend you on the job you're doing. Plus, one question. All the things that we're going to be bringing back in-house, do we have significant manpower, or are we going to be doing some hiring?
Yes, we using our manpower. We do have the manpower.
You do have the manpower?
The garbage truck, the drivers that's driving these motor brooms, not affected. The same drivers that's driving the garbage truck is driving that. In fact, to be honest with you, superintendents and supervisors are driving these motor brooms. Not just regular workers. We took 2 laborers. The rest of them that's driving these vehicles is CDL drivers, which is supervisors and superintendents, who stood up to the plate and said, we go get this done. So that's why we plan on hiring these other CDL drivers so they could go back to their roles and responsibilities.
Councilman McCallum.
Director, how you doing? I think you were supposed to do the special next week, but
Yes.
apparently this has turned into the special. So I might as well ask you about the tree stumps.
I tried to leave.
Yeah. Can you give me an updated status on the tree stumps? What's going on? What's the plan for?
The plan is for go out to bid. Okay. We'll be going out for bid for tree removal. We're doing a set aside for pruning, and we're going to do a set aside for stumps. So whatever small business win the stump removed, then they'll start. It's about 1,400 tree stumps. So we plan on doing a dual award. It's not going to get done with the snap of a finger, but we're going to start the process. So what the tree department have been doing, they've been documenting when they cut down trees, so we'll know which tree stump been in the longest, and them tree stumps the ones we go hit first.
Okay.
Thank you, Director. Mr. Clerk, next speaker.
Martha Rodriguez.
Ms. Jackson, we'd like to hear from Martha. And she shouldn't have to be patient to wait for you. Go ahead.
That's right. Martha Rodriguez, Union Rep. For most of the City of Newark Sanitation Department, 911 crossing guards. I'm here.
Can you pull the microphone down, Martha?
Say that again?
Pull the microphone
mic
down.
down. I thought it
Better?
was just me.
Is it better?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Finding my address? Sure, 452 Washington Avenue. Washington Street, sorry, and 703 Macara Highway. I'm here to talk about the payroll department. The first pay period of January this year, there was some mistakes and big-time errors on the paycheck. There was an email and a master text explaining that they acknowledged the errors, that they will make the corrections, and the manual check will follow that following Friday, which it didn't happen. Second pay period, same mistakes. I understand the 26 pay periods plus 1 day. I do. But doesn't equal to take away $3 or sometimes more than that on an hourly rate to the members. And they still haven't made no corrections, and they still haven't sent not even a note on the pay stuff saying this is what it was done, the reason why it happened, and how it's going to be corrected, and also when. So I need somebody to check on this, please, because my people is working to get paid so they can pay their bills. They live paycheck by paycheck. I don't know about you guys, but they do. And if they work, they deserve to get paid the right amount that they're working for. Okay? Sanitation. I want to clear sanitation department. Too many conversations about sanitation lately, and that's the only reason I'm coming in here for. New trucks. It's good. The more trucks, the better. But those new trucks are going to be replaced, those unsafety trucks, or we're still going to be using an unsafety truck out there who's going to break down an hour later coming out of the garage that will not complete the job. Those new trucks are going to go to the same ward that they're all focusing on and forget about the rest of the city? Because we need more than that. Meanwhile, I got 8 trucks in one place, but I only got 4 on one place. It will not complete the job. It will never complete the job. So I just want to be clear on this. My guys do the hell of the job. They break their back picking up garbage, illegal dumping, regular garbage, and extra. Go do their job behind that truck or drive one of those own safety trucks for 1 day, and then you can give me a call.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Madam President.
I'm sorry.
I raised that question with the
Director,
Assistant Business Administrator yesterday
Tuesday
in
is
regards to the fact that there were sanitation workers who were saying that they were being underpaid, that there was a mix-up in their payroll on continuous pay periods. And you were supposed to get back to us in regards to why are they not getting paid the dollar amounts they're supposed to get paid, and why haven't they been reimbursed the monies that they are due? The other thing is, Ms. Rodriguez just brought up a very interesting issue. If you're replacing, we're talking about we're getting brand new trucks, but then you got other trucks that are already breaking down. So we're still going to have an issue going back and forth. So at the Tuesday meeting, Director Thomas, we need to understand if you have trucks that are unsafe and they're still going out on the road, that's why I asked you, are we giving you enough vehicles? If you're bringing it in-house, then how much is it going to actually cost us in order to get the fleet to be able to do the services without jeopardizing the safety of the workers and not having morale go down? Because you just stated that everybody's happy over there because they're doing what they have to do, and they've always done that. We understand that. But at the same time, the city can't be negligent and not pay them what they're supposed to get paid. And I don't know about anybody else, Martha, but I'm like the sanitation workers on there. I live paycheck to paycheck, all right? I ain't got that coming in like that. So can we make sure that we have that information on Tuesday?
Director, thank you. Next, Ms. Jackson, we want to hear from the people who are involved. Today is not the day. We have serious issues to discuss. And if you can't be a part of the solution, no, that's not true. So we're not going back and forth. What, officer? Thank you. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
10-4 Evans.
Hallelujah.
Hello, my name is 10-4 Evans, P.O. Box 2367, Newark, New Jersey. I hope everybody ready. When I speak today, I hope everybody listen. But I don't want to be going over and over with this nonsense. Since we have not had the street clean, and they say it was too high, where's our money back at the taxing? The tax money didn't come back. You clean the street by the tax. Taxpayer pay the money. No one gave no money back from that. Now, where is the money? That's the question you should be looking at. You didn't clean the street. You didn't clean it yesterday, day before. That's taxpayer money. Where is the money? That's taxpayer money. You didn't clean the street, so where the money at? Y'all don't think of that, do you? Now, I'm finna call the roll call. We saying that we are not doing this and that. I don't need to come up here telling you what you got to be done. Where is that money from that taxpayer money? All them people pay taxes. I pay taxes. Everybody pay tax in the city of Newark. Where is your money? Is they use the taxpayer money to clean the street. No one saying nothing where the money at. You know, we got the sorriest administration I ever seen in my life since I've been in Newark. I never seen us do not clean the street. Unless it's snow, we know that. We got common sense. Ain't with no snow. Y'all seem like y'all don't understand. When we talk about putting people in the office can't do nothing with this here. This is the mayor. And like I said, if the mayor ride around in the city like he should do, he'll know what's going on in the city. Excuse me, you ain't told me nothing. I'm talking, Joanne. When I talk, I'm talking. I mean that what I say. All right, then you shouldn't cut up now, because I cut up with you and let you know what the bill is. So this is what I'm saying to everybody.
Excuse me, Ms. Evans, you'll get your minute. Ms. Rodriguez and Director, please take your conversation outside of, yes, because we want to hear who's at the speaker. Thank you, Ms. Evans. Please give Ms. Evans another 60 seconds.
Next thing is that, like we said, we're coming up for election time, and we know it's not. Another thing, I want to tell this to the mayor. Mayor, any of those buildings have tenant association meetings. You don't have your people come in and put out literature. I'm not going to have it no more. They had the meeting in Madison the other night. Your people come in, have people come in putting out literature. You don't come and put literature in a meeting. You ask them, the president said, Miss, can I have literature? She said, yes, when after the meeting. You don't come and throw a little literature out. I don't want to see it no more. I don't care who you are. The mayor feeling like he don't have no respect for nobody. He think he's the big boss. Baby, you ain't the big boss, because I'm here. You're not the big boss. I'm here. I'm letting you know now. You don't get no bigger than me. I'm telling you that now. We give respect, or to receive respect. And I do not want to see that again in no kind of meeting. Whatever you put on the table and let the people get it, say, okay, thank you. That's all you got to do. You don't come in, I don't care what you're writing for. Give respect. Is that right, Louis Vakana? Raymond, speak. I call your name out loud. I say, Raymond. I don't want no storm out. Ain't that right, Eddie? All right, then. I don't want to see that no more. I'm going to be here. And the next thing is, first off, when we talk about all these things, that is a health problem. I had to go to the doctor. And it's come from filtering. When I'm breathing, that air pollution coming out there, sinus, hay fever, it almost like to kill you. That's why I speak very hard about those issues. I don't live in a filter place. I don't keep my house filtered, and I don't ensure them when I'm going back in the hospital some foolishness. You understand me? Mayor Ass Rocker, I said again, I don't care what you do, how you do. I do not want to see you come back again. Have a blessed day.
Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
All right, Cowboy.
He's here. Oh, there he is. Yes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, council members.
Good afternoon.
President, I appreciate being here, even though I had a struggle being here this morning. I had a little trouble.
I'm not sure that you stated your name and address for the record.
Yes, I'm all right, Cowboy. I'm the home of Cowboy Ranch House. I'm here in Newark. I'm a 48 district leader of the South Ward. And I am not a politician, but I know how to deal with the people in the city, and the people know me as who I am and what I'm about. And I'm just kind of hurt and disgusted for the way things have been since I've become a district leader, thinking I could help the people. But I see that it's a different situation when you become a politician and trying to help the people. And I found out behind not being able to be even get help myself. From the beginning, when I started, and June the 7th, I was voted in. I was put out my house June the 8th, and everybody knew about it, and I was trying to make it in the South Ward, being the district leader to help the people, and it seemed like I was snubbed at the nose from the first entrance, because everybody said they were going to help me, and everybody knew I was trying to be in the district of the South Ward. And so I was living in my van out there on Dayton Street to try to help the people and get things together while they were that I was going to be helped. But that whole year, a year and a half, I hadn't been contacted by anybody to help me as a senior citizen. I'm a 78-year-old man, but I don't look it and I don't feel it. And I felt that I can help a lot of people in what I'm about. And I'm a horseman, and I was helping the kids.
Please excuse me.
And doing for the kids ever since the 70s, when I was up the Aquatic Watershed training the kids how to ride. And I was taking them out of stolen cars, sniffing glue, and bringing them into my stable. And everybody knew what I was trying to do. And I was helped by Gus Henningberg, bless his soul, that he's gone now, and Sharp James, and the Mayor Gibson. Everybody was in favor for what I was doing. I was helping the city out quite a bit. But then Friday night, I was going to leave on the parkway to go down south to my brother's, down South Ward, and the traffic was heavy. I knew of Willie Asbury had passed, and I said, I might as well go up there and give him respect. But when I went up there and I seen all the people that was around Willie Asbury giving the respect that what he was about, and knowing Willie Asbury to how he was trying to help Newark in a lot of things and help people, I said he didn't get the respect. He didn't get the respect and knowing how to do things for the people. And I seen that the mayor gave a proclamation to his family for what he has been around there. And I said, it's a shame that people don't get respect until they're dead and gone. And it's a shame that what I had to offer to Newark and the respect that I have been given and what I can do for Newark to help. I didn't come here to complain about anything. I come here to help Newark. And it's not Newark, it's the new Ark of the Covenant. And nobody knows how important this city is and what it really stands for. It says, from the east to the west, so the coming of man will be. And this is where, from the east of New Jerusalem, he's coming into the west. And this is where he ended up, in Newark. It's not Newark, it's the new Ark of the Covenant. And that there arena over there, it's not that arena over there, it's the devil's den. And that's where everything is being. That's where the gladiators come. It's the same that was over there in Rome, and where the gladiators was fighting. And they didn't get. This was the first coming. Said that he would be back again, and nobody knows it, but this is the completion. This is the year of the 9, and the 9 is completion. And if it isn't right anymore, it's not going to work. And it's coming down. And I said, I have a plan, and I came here 2 times. This is my 3rd time. And I said, I went to everybody's office. I went to Quintana. I went to Mrs. Crump. I went to John. I was telling everybody. And I was told to come to your office. And I said I was going to speak because I got a plan that will help Newark and the kids. You're battling against a problem that you're not going to win. But I have the solution, and all I ask for is somebody to see what I'm about and get in contact with me. I got this paper.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Your time, unfortunately, has expired. Mr. Clerk, would you have someone from your office make copies of what Mr. Wright is speaking from so that we can have that to look over? Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Next speaker. I think I saw her.
Opal R. Wright.
I guess I did. Not appearing.
Thomas Africa Ebing.
I think I see him.
Is here.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is.
Oh, my name is Africa.
I'm sorry?
My name is Africa. My mama named me Thomas, but I'm doubting Thomas, so I really don't go by Thomas. But
Address.
it's Black History Month.
Address.
You need the address too. It's been a while, huh? 175 First Street.
What I say?
Yeah, it's been a long time. But it's Black History Month. And I said it already, 175 First Street. You want to come by?
Yeah, I was like,
Just go ahead.
But
Continue, Mr.
it's Black History.
Africa.
It's Black History Month, and I want to celebrate, and I want to wish everybody a Black History Month. That's the only holiday I celebrate in America out here. But there's a purpose for that. If you look around here, you see how the colors start changing on these walls. Like, it's a history. It's a history how you people got to start sitting up there. I'm quite sure it wasn't always this complexion or this hue of people sitting up there. But it's a long legacy of people out there on the streets, marching, dying, suffering. So people like you could sit up there to carry on the business of the day, our business, the people that live in Newark, the constituents that you're supposed to serve. These are the people that you're supposed to work for. I don't care about lobbying. We all know how politics is, or whoever's supposed to fund your campaign. You all know how this game is played. That's why I really don't come to these things no more, because I'd rather do the work on the streets. We work with kids every day till about 10 o'clock at night. But I decided to come here today because a few things have been going on, and I feel I need to express myself so people out there can understand what's going on out here, and they could get on the right path too. 2 days ago, a kid called me. He's been playing basketball for our program for like 4 or 5 years because we use the basketball to keep them in-house, to work with them on a daily basis to make sure they get where they need to get in life. Basketball is a carrot. They love basketball, so we give them basketball. He's been playing with me since like the 5th, 6th grade. He's in St. Mary's now. St. Mary's is the top 10 basketball school in New Jersey. And he's going to school. His mother said she was going to be able to pay, but she hasn't paid nothing the whole year. So they told him he can't come back to school like 2, 3 days ago. So he called me at 10 o'clock crying. Yo, Africa, my mother can't pay. She said when she get her job at the airport next year, she's going to be able to pay. We already paying, me and my family, we're already paying for like 3 kids to go to the school. That's coming out of our pocket. Every month, we got to pay in the school for the kids to go there. We give out scholarships. We don't have to go ask nobody, go beg nobody. This what we could do, so we do it. But I can't. I looked at my wife. She was in the room with me. She was like, bro, we ain't even got no money. So I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to make it work. I called the coaches, called everybody, and we're in the midst of making that work. And I'm telling y'all, because he's your constituent. He's the one that's supposed to come back in 20 years and be sitting up there and helping out in this community and help building it and continuing the legacy of everybody that died, from the first slave that jumped off the ship, that died for us to be here. And when I watch how the politicians, I'm trying not to mention no names, how the leaders in our community act, it's not deserving of the sacrifices they made or the sacrifices I make every day. Because me and my family make it too, to feed and take care of these kids. What is going on politically, how we dehumanize each other, talk about each other's families, throw out innuendos, throw out rape charges. Because you know rape is like calling somebody a Nazi now. Like, throw out all these things that dehumanize us after we finally gotten to this level. I think it's appalling. I know a couple of you council members. I've come to see Ms. Cheneyfield. She's giving out probably like about $2,500 for the kids to go to Cleveland a couple of years ago. She gave out some money. She helped out. I can talk about things like that because I'm sincere. I can be honest and say she helped out. But I can also be honest and say when I'm living in the projects and somebody called me and said they're giving out 300 coats to the kids that I work with, the kid that his mother can't pay for his school fees. And then the person that's the tenant head in the building say, no, they can't give out the coats in that room because she's affiliated with your campaign. Like, that's harmful. Like, the business of the day is not being taken care of. Like, this is not sincere stuff. I mean, like, that's not me calling out names, saying your family's messed up, you're messed up. I don't care about none of that. But I care about that kid not getting that coat. And that bothers me. So, like, things like that really hurt. And I'm here to say we have to do better. Like, there got to be a purpose of why we sit up here, why we do this. Then it's worthless. Your money, you can't take money with you. We all going to die. You're going to die one day. What legacy are we living? What are we leaving for the kids? Like, I'm going to die. I don't care. I live in Spires. I've been there for 10 years. I write. I do my work with the kids. And, like, I'm okay at night. We don't need money. Look, like, we really need to start thinking, 5 more seconds. We really need to start thinking, like, what is our purpose? And I don't want to see all this stuff going back, dehumanizing ourselves to win an election. Because that money is only like, what, 100, 200, 300,000? That ain't no money. Like, we need to do better. And thank you. But, like, I need help with Buddy and the kids and stuff. If y'all could help the kid, his name is Buddy. If y'all could help out, please reach out.
I know for a fact that council members are very generous. Thank you. Next speaker. Thank you, 10-4.
Tarika Groves.
Which Tarika Groves? Not appearing.
Bessie Walker.
Appearing.
I am appearing.
Appearing.
Hello, Ms. Steve. Good afternoon, Council.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Bessie Walker, former councilwoman here in the city of Newark, community activist, homeowner, taxpayer. I live at 75 Vassar Avenue in the city of Newark. And I'm disappointed, but before I start, I'm going to take a quote from a famous man. The ultimate measure of a man or a woman is not where he or she stands in the moment of comfort and convenience, but where she stands or he stands at the time of challenge and controversy. Well, you've had some controversy here in this city, from investigations down at the Housing Authority, Newark Economic Development, and City Hall. But you know, last week I had the opportunity of turning on the television, and I saw a man we pay $100 and some thousand stand before this city council looking like a buffoon and making the city of Newark look horrible, that he didn't know what was going on. Well, the chain of command is up under him, and you know I called you, John. The BA should be over and managing all departments. And for him to stand before you, this council, and say he had no idea of what's going on, then you should take that pencil or pen that you have and go in that budget like I did with the director when he told me there was no gangs in the city of Newark. When I sat up here, I said, then you shouldn't have the job. And my job is that I can take it out. I can take the position out and take the money out. You have the power. For him to stand up here and talk and say, we never did street cleaning in the wintertime, I'm appalled. Yes, we have. The only time we don't do street cleaning, and you know it, Louis, you know it, Councilwoman, you know it, Councilwoman, is in the winter time when there's snow on the ground. So, you know, people have talked about that street cleaning contract. I have an issue. I heard my friend Khalif, and I'm glad he's down there and doing a good job, but where the heck is the BA? The mayor should hold the BA responsible, and y'all should hold the mayor responsible. The debacle on health care was abysmal. I listened to it and looked at it, and still people out there without health care and prescription plan. This is horrendous. You are paying a BA, you are paying a personnel director. I'm appalled. Your silence is deafening. When you had the roll call on the no confidence, you all punked out. I'm gonna tell it like it is. There were few that took the call because that's what the residents of the city of Newark put you there for, to stand up for them. They pay your salaries. Now, I'm gonna move on. With all the sexual harassment that's going on in the city of Newark, I want to know, where's that sexual harassment ordinance? I had a firefighter come to my house, show me the documentation of male firefighters sending her their private parts, texting them and sending them to her. She's going up the line talking about the stuff, sitting with the mayor, sitting with staff in the city. And nothing has been done about that woman. Well, I told her, organize her stuff. We taking it to the newspaper, to the TV stations, because this woman has been sexually harassed, got the documentation, and no one's moving on. But I bet the mayor fired that police officer when he called him a name and carrying on. This is much more serious, and I've seen the documentation. I want your sexual harassment ordinance up, and you all should be the two women up there should be leading the charge on moving forth that, and all you men should be sitting there and following on, because you know it's going on. It's not only going on here, all around the country. So what are we putting in place to address that? We should not be holding it off. We should be moving forth with it. I'm going to rally coalitions of women and put them in this chamber. You should move that ordinance, and I'm going to see. I'm going to come back again because I don't have the time. I want to know the answers on, there's a $90 million budget deficit in the school district. I'm glad we got it back, but was there any negotiations as to how they want to ask Chris Christie to clean up that mess sitting over there? If not, I see it coming, property taxes being raised and everything else. And I'm going to finish because my time is up, but I'll be back. I'm going to sign up again. I leave you with this. Dr. King stated once again that there comes a time when silence is a betrayal. Your silence up here for the residents of the city of Newark is a betrayal that is so astounding, some of you. You need to speak up for the people that put you in these seats. I'll be back.
Councilwoman Walker.
We do have a response.
Councilwoman Walker.
No, it's just a response, Councilwoman. She's just responding.
We did have a
forth.
conversation with the Corporation Council and with the Law Department as well as with the Clerk's Office. We are trying to fast track the sexual harassment ordinance to make sure that it gets on the agenda for February. Africa made a statement about sexual harassment, the accusations of rape and I don't know anyone who thinks that when somebody makes those kind of statements that there's not a blowback on that woman, and she becomes the victim. Okay? And we're making sure that it's not a broad brush so that the person who is accused can also have recourse in being able to prove their innocence if it is so. But we're going to have it for the February night meeting. I know we're going to work hard because it's overdue. And one of the issues that the law department has faced is in the past in certain professions, like say maybe a school teacher, that person could be taken out of that department, out of the school system, and put in what is referred to as the rubber room.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, so I know
And
that.
so that way, until their innocence is proven or whatever, they're still being paid, or in most cases.
She's
The
not.
issue is in the case of a city employee. Where do we put that person in the meantime while they're waiting for resolution in the investigation to take place? So that was one of the issues that the Corporation Counsel himself brought up. You're absolutely right. Silence is not an option. And in this case, I mean, we've seen other people in other industries, whether it's the music industry, whether it's the entertainment industry, whether it's just yesterday, the guy that's in charge of Wynn Hotels. Nobody makes these accusations without realizing that there is consequences for themselves. And that's why the victims are so afraid to say things. And we're going to have to address it because it's the time to do it. If Congress can do it, if the Senate can do it,
That's right.
if everyone else can do it, then certainly the city of Newark has to do it. We have to offer protection to those workers who want to be able to say something. And it should not go on for any extended period of time. That's one of the things we're working on, to make sure that the resolution can come sooner. And who they report it to, they won't fear that they'll lose their job because it may be somebody high up that's doing the harassment.
They told her to be quiet.
Thank you. Mr. Clark, I'm sorry, Councilman.
I just want to add that while we may do our best, as a people, we have to do better. Tiffany Wilson was killed yesterday at 8:30 in the morning by her ex-boyfriend. It was no secret. She had broken up with him. She had him arrested several occasions, had a restraining order against him. He was jailed several times. But when he was out on bail, he killed her. So as a people, not just in City Hall, but public sector, private sector, we need to be mindful and provide assistance for those who are in domestic violence situations, abusive relationships, because it's beyond what we do on paper. If a neighbor hears something, if someone needs assistance, that's why I'm glad we have the Shani Baraka Resource Center. Go for counseling. There is no perfect solution, but we absolutely need to follow through and at least do our part in City Hall, mindful of the fact that our residents need help also.
Thank you
Madam
very
President.
much. Councilman Ramos.
I'm glad the councilman raised the issue with the fortunate, horrific incident that took place yesterday.
Yes.
But more than just community responsibility, that's an indicator of how bail reform is failing, the state of New Jersey. I have written, opinion pieces criticizing the new bail reform law and urging our legislators to tighten up some of these loopholes. This isn't the first time that we have someone who has a history of domestic violence who has been released and has terrorized the same victim that they were originally charged with. And we really need to circle back, and as a council, and I'm going to propose a resolution that we can send to the prosecutor and to all the legislators representing Essex County to take action sooner rather than later. Because this isn't a Newark problem, this is a state problem, and every major city in the entire state of New Jersey is dealing with the negative effects of this new bail reform law. And I'm all for bail reform. If you've been picked up for traffic tickets, and you will unfortunately have to spend time in prison for that kind of minor offense, then you should not be incarcerated for that offense. But if you're someone who's been locked up for some kind of violent offense, there has to be strong supervision if you're going to be released in the community, and they really need to tighten up some of these loopholes. So I just want to state that for the record.
No, it's most appropriate.
But just make sure it starts at home
Councilwoman,
here.
thank you.
Start here with your sexual harassment, because it's happening in the city.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, next speaker.
I'm sorry, just to piggyback on something that the councilman said. The Shawnee Baraka Center is one thing, but there was a phone number that used to be given out. I mean, we had done a whole marketing campaign when Dr. Hamdi was here, a 1-800 number that people could call, and that number didn't work. Okay, and that was the reason why Dr. Hamdi was terminated, among other issues. But my thing is, where is that, we need to find out from Dr. Wade, what's going on with that phone number? Because everybody's not going to go over on Clinton Avenue.
It was disconnected.
It was disconnected.
And a county number replaced it.
A county number replaced it? So we need to make sure that county number is posted on the city website, because everybody that's running in fear, and they may have their children with them, may be leaving the house barefoot, they don't have time to go over to the center, because what time does the center close? It's not open 24 hours a day. All right? So we need to make sure that people are aware of, especially women, of the domestic violence number that they can call, that they can get immediate help.
And that's a county number. The county already had a department.
Do you know it from memory?
No, I don't know it from memory.
Mr. Clerk, through your chair, during the showing of these proceedings, as a crawl statement to the people who provide the coverage of this meeting, they could put across the bottom the crawl number of the county, so that they have access. They can do that. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Andrina Suhando.
Not appearing.
Colleen M. Fields.
Appearing.
My name is Colleen Fields. I reside at 27 Foster, Newark, New Jersey. And I'm very, very appalled on today. And I'm disappointed because I thought, well, first of all, my sister Colleen the Dream shout out goes to the new housing director. I'm appalled and I'm PO'd that the same old staff of Keith Kennard is still working. It's just appalling. I have been viciously attacked. My title was taken away from me as the TA president, and this is proof, thanks to Mrs. Taylor, that there is no such board. And Keith Kennard was behind all of this, Rita Robinson, the Holmes, and all of them, but I got them this time. And I've been asking for months to give me information, and our manager always says that she's busy. This is the 6th time as I speak that I've been infested with bed bugs, had to throw out my furniture, and a lot of other issues going on. And first of all, it's not done properly. It's like pulling hen's teeth to get a plastic bag. And it clearly states that when you wash your clothes and you take them to the laundromat, that you should be given fresh bags, and that's not being enforced. Also, the people that are joining your appointment, they really don't enforce that they be inspected. And it's just, it's crazy. I caught 25 mice in my house. This is a public health issue. The secretary that was being trained to be the assistant manager was very nasty to the residents. I was talking to Ms. Robinson, said nothing to her. She totally disrespected me, and if you disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you back, and I did. So I think it's a bench warrant out for me, but I'm going around the corner if I make it. She was so disrespectful. She filed a complaint that I was harassing her. So the next day, they meant to get me. Oh, they meant to get me. But thank God I'm chosen. I went in there, Ms. Holmes was in there, and I told Ms. Robinson, I said, Ms. Robinson, I'm starting a petition against her because she's nasty to the residents. She was nasty to me, and she was also nasty to the TA secretary, Ms. Green. Well, the very next day, they got her out of there. But I'm appalled because people were knocking on my door. What's going on? Oh, Colleen, there's a bench warrant out for you. So how does all the residents know that? But it's just been a witch hunt. It's been a witch hunt. It's been a witch hunt. But out of all the people, because I'll speak up for the people, and I was hopeful, and I'm not going to call no name. I was hopeful when the guy came here. And somebody that's in this chamber, I'm not going to call his name, he said it could be worse. Now, the new person I was told, because they blocked my number, to call Miss Tony. Miss Tony said they can't do that. Until this day, my number is still blocked. So there was a guy named Rodriguez from security from housing. It wasn't Hector. I was trying to explain that. Because she whispered to him, he said he was going to escort me out the building and he would arrest me. I said, man, get out of my face. You can't even arrest my toenail. You better call a cop. So when we got outside, he said, I'm not scared of Raz, and I'm not scared of Mitty. I'm not scared of none of them. Well, to me, that was a racial statement. I had a flashback to Ambrose that called black people you people. And God forgive me, but I meant what I said. You disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you back. I have no problem with the Puerto Ricans, but I said, and we ain't scared of you speaks either, because he's a racist pig. And I try to love everybody, but it's wrong. It's wrong, it's wrong. And all the things that are going down there, self-boarding, the drugs, the prostitution, people living in people's apartments, people was in J1, wasn't even supposed to be there, all kind of craziness. And that's not the only apartment. But I'm being singled out, like they said. You being singled out, all the stuff go on down here. Please, Miss Robinson is an habitual liar. She's out to get me, and guess what? I'm out to get her right back, but I'm going to get her with the paper trail. She ain't fit for nothing. And I want everybody to have a nice day. And I don't like people to be mistreated in housing. I don't like that. You know, and people are on drugs. They might be on different drugs. They might have mental issues. But you don't know why somebody's on drugs until you walk a mile in their moccasins. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Takashawn Nickerson.
Is she appearing? Oh.
Good afternoon.
You need to lift the mic up, ma'am.
I'm gonna push it up just.
Could someone help her?
Am I doing it right? Good afternoon, members of the Newark Council.
Good afternoon.
My name is Takesha Nickerson, and I reside at Riverside Villa in Newark in the North Ward, and I am also the tenant president of the Tenant Association. And I represent the people and I advocate on behalf of other residents in the North Ward. I must first say, I thank Gail Chaneyfield. You made a remarkable statement on Facebook, and I can't recall it verbatim, but when I come back again, I'm gonna recall that statement that you made. I was trying to find it as I was sitting there, but I couldn't. So let me begin. First, let me address you, Councilman Ramos. I was appalled when I almost walked out of my door and almost stumbled into your re-election event that you gave at the waterfront that sits footsteps from my door. We were not invited. We were not invited. If you did invite us, you invited us through a third party that doesn't even reside in Riverside Villa.
We want to hear Ms. Nickerson. No, continue.
Excuse me, Councilman?
I said continue. They're talking while you're talking.
I'm sorry, you didn't extend an invitation to Riverside Villa, to the constituents at Riverside Villa, to attend your reelection. I think that was very disrespectful. I found it very disrespectful, and the person that you did use as a third party, this person is not a resident at Riverside Villa, and she didn't distribute the information or the lecture out to the residents so that we could take part. I'm not saying that you had to invite the whole North Ward to your reelection, but I would expect you to invite the constituents that sit there at the door, because we are literally at the door of the waterfront. That's the first problem. And the second thing I want to ask you, do you support business owners of Young Newark in the North Ward? Because I was reading on that paper, your little sponsorship, and there is no sponsorship of too many people in the North Ward. I'm just asking because my son just launched his own business January the 20th, and I had no response from your office, first. Second, my son plays international basketball overseas, many basketball games. And I have yet to hear you even mention my son's name. And I am a product of Riverside Villa, Newark Housing Authority, low-income public housing residents. I just want to know that from you, Councilman Ramos. And to move on, Councilman Osborne, might I say, with all your incisive vernacular conversation about me, I don't find it professional for you to downplay a leader, the truth of a leader. I find leaders to lift up other leaders. Are you a leader, Councilman Osborne? That's my question to you. And to you, Councilman Trump, Woman Trump, I cry to you.
Not Trump.
Crump, C-R-U-M-P, Crump, Mildred Crump.
Yes.
No, not yet. I cry to you on behalf, and let me mind you, let me go back. You say you're the mother of the city. That is a very affectionate nickname. I find it to be very affectionate. And we are your children in the North Ward. And I cry to you in the year of 2015. You and I had a conversation at Occupy the Block. And I cried to you in reference and on behalf of concerns of the residents at my site. Your response to me was, Ms. Nickerson, set up an appointment with my office. I come out, I walk the grounds, and you and I and your team, we can discuss the issues and concerns. Well, Ms. Crump, that day has yet to arrive. And your children in the North Ward has been neglected and endangered. So that classify you as an unfit mother. So I say to you all, the song that y'all are dancing to, the music that you hear that's playing in your ear that you're dancing around the table, it has stopped. The music has stopped. I ask you guys to stand. Each and every one of you take a stand, gracefully take your bow, because change is near. Change is near, and we need some adequate, alert, bright, capable, competent, knowing, smart, strong, ready, powerful people to take the leadership and run this city and to fill your seats. Thank you.
Madam President?
Yes.
Yeah. If I can, Madam President, I just want to state for the record that if our office or my staff fail to invite you to our kickoff, we do apologize. But I do pride myself in the relationship that we've had with your tenant association. A few months ago, you came up to me and thanked us for the support that we have given that tenant association. I was at your last meeting. Every year we've done, a number of events. We've supported the tenant association, 1,000%. So it kind of surprises me that you're here at this meeting criticizing the level of support. And as far as your son's business, a lot of the resolutions that we do give out at the council meetings, we get individual requests. I don't give out as many resolutions as my colleagues do. But I always love to highlight new business owners and other individuals in our community. So if you want to send us information about your son's business, I'd be more than happy to evaluate it and present a resolution. So I just want to state that.
So I just want to also say I'm human. I am not divine. And if I neglected to follow up Please forgive me. I do make mistakes, as does everyone else. I am not ashamed of my record of service. I am honored that so many do call me Mom. I apologize. If you want to continue the conversation, please feel free to leave your number, and we will take care of it. Ms. Bomani.
Well, Ms. Bomani, a longtime Newark resident and a longtime advocate. First, let me give praise to the Creator for all humanity and to our freedom-fighting ancestors who paved the way. This Black History Month, we must honor and pay our respects to the shoulders we stand on, and I do it all the time anyway because it's an honor. Greetings, members of council, Newark residents, and guests. Before I begin, I have a message. I have a message to former Mayor Booker. The best thing that you can do for the Newark residents is to return back our taxpayer money that was funneled through the corruption and misappropriation of funds during your administration. That's the best thing you could do for us right now. And some of the other things that you could do is focus on creating stronger policies to better serve your constituents. Another thing you can do is help provide funding for a data tracking referral system for the Office of Affirmative Action. Something else you can do for us is to start a federal trades program to help train your constituents for the jobs that's in demand in the city of Newark. That's what you can do for us. The business that we want you to support is those things that we are in dire need of, and I hope you're listening. Supporting and turning the blind eye on the corruption, on the nepotism, on the abuse of power, and the sexual harassment allegations happening in this city, we won't allow you to do that on our watch. So I hope you're listening, you and Mo Butler, because I know y'all here frequently. So not on our watch. We're going to hold you accountable to addressing those issues. To the North Ward residents, and I'm glad I see one of our North Ward African-American resident here, because, you know, we getting a bad rap over there in North Ward. But to the North Ward residents, are you sick and tired of living in a diverse ward that's being divided by our political regime? The have versus the have-nots, class struggle. The same old bully leadership. The good old men's club, the party bosses that we have, and you know who you are. The filthy streets, the potholes, the abandoned and vacant properties, the lack of safety, the poor lighting, the poor resources given with fair equity that she's talking about. The high unemployment. Is North Ward any better? Is Newark any better? Question residents of Newark. Newark councilmen and the at-large members of council, I ask you today, what is your plan to address our concerns? Now, she came with you with a concern that he said he's going to address, and we'll see it, because I think he, you know, at one time I thought he was a man of integrity until, you know, I'm kind of like leery now, but anyway, hopefully he'll address your concerns. I came before you before about the anti-nepotism policy, and I said to you all that nepotism and cronyism will be your demise. Look what's happening today. It's going to be your demise. If this is what y'all legacies, you want your legacies to be built on, I don't think not. To the state monitor who's responsible for improving our fiscal crisis here in this city. I have a recommendation for you. Newark need an office of comptroller or a permanent fiscal watchdog to help stop government fraud and wasteful spending in this city that happened throughout, and he said it happened during Sharp administration, but somebody needs to show me, because I thought Sharp came in with a surplus, and Booker ran this city in the hole, and his former current mayor is running it in a hole even worse. So I don't know, but we need a fiscal watchdog in this city, and we need a permanent comptroller in the city of Newark.
Thank you. Your time has expired. No, everyone else who preceded you has been cooperative. Thank you. Next speaker.
Madam President.
I'm sorry, Councilman.
Yeah, Ms. Bomani, I just want to say we could disagree on politics,
Excuse me, is that a threat? What you just said to me, I'll get you the next time? No, I just want to make sure. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Madam President, I just want to say to Ms. Bomani that we may disagree on politics, but you don't have the basis to question my integrity.
Madam, excuse me, Ms. Bomani, somebody else is at the microphone. Madam Officer.
You're talking to me. I'm responding back. If you don't want a response, I got equal airtime. I can give you equal airtime. But he said,
Just do what is appropriate. Mr. Crystal.
Good afternoon, Madam President, Council. My name is John.
Good afternoon.
Excuse me. My name is John Crystal. I'm president of Newark Police Superior Officers Association, primary business resident, 1 Lincoln Avenue. I'm here to address the Americans with Disabilities Act and the city's failure to comply with the act. A little history on the ADA. This act was put in place with a person, a qualified individual that has a disability is allowed to have reasonable accommodations as long as they can do the essential functions of the job. And this disability affects one of the major life functions. According to the ADA, you're supposed to have a ADA coordinator and an ADA grievance procedure to address any grievances, not contractual grievances, but any type of grievances that an individual or employee may have. Now, when this came out in 1992, then Mayor Sharp James issued an executive order, P92-003, in regards to the Americans with Disabilities Act's grievance procedure. It established the ADA committee, and if the committee can't resolve the person's grievance or the employee's grievance, it went to a hearing. Then it went to an appeal if it wasn't satisfactory to both parties. And part of the appeal process, the city council's on it, a union member, a non-union member, a member of the mayor's office. And then they would render a decision and to address any of the ADA grievance that may have been brought. The issue I'm bringing up, we have a member who's has a disability, Hispanic female, over 40 years old, has a disability. She was granted a 6-month leave of absence. Under the ADA, a reasonable accommodation she's requesting is additional leave, which is a reasonable accommodation. Now, I went to the personnel, I asked our department, who's the ADA grievance compliance officer and the ADA grievance procedure, which all department heads are supposed to know. I was referred to the Department of Personnel. I met with Ms. Daniels back in October. She advised me, I'm the ADA grievance officer. I said, do you know the grievance procedure? ADA grievance, she didn't know. She explained to me she was going to grant the additional 6 months. This is unpaid, it's not going to cost the city any money, since October. Well, here's February, I've been ignored, I've asked for the ADA grievance procedure. According to the executive order, which I emailed everybody, but I do have hard copies, it says such person may file a grievance with the ADA grievance committee chairperson, and you can obtain a grievance form at the law department, 316 room 316, 920 Broad Street. I went to the law department. They didn't know what I was talking about. They referred me back to the personnel director. I tried to file a complaint with the Office of Affirmative Action, prima facie case. You have to be in a protected class, and there has to be some adverse employment action. Well, you're over 40, you're female, Hispanic, you have a disability. I believe those are protected classes. I was referred back to the personnel department. All we're asking is that she be granted a leave of absence another 6 months so she can recuperate from her disability. And if this ADA grievance procedure was in place that Mayor Sharp James put into effect, I probably wouldn't be here right now. That's all I'm asking, is the city to comply with the ADA. It's a simple remedy. Comply with the ADA, give her an additional 6 months so she can recuperate. Not going to cost anybody any money. You know, in the future, it could lead to lawsuits, and all you got to do is grant her another leave, and that's it. But nobody knows what I'm talking about when I go to all the offices. Nobody could tell me what the ADA grievance procedure and who the compliance officer is. You're supposed to have notices posted. You're supposed to have policies. I'm not making this up. This is in the law. We don't have any policies in place. I don't have any posters. In my office, I have the posters, but that's all I'm asking as a remedy to this matter, and to apply and have the city abide by the ADA grievance procedure. Because it might not just affect me individually or my member, it could affect all the employees here in the city. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank
And I have copies if you need it, or I email it to you.
Thank you.
Can you leave copies, Mr.
Ms.
Crystal?
Foster.
Mr. Crystal, can you leave
yes.
copies with the clerk's office, please?
Excuse me, ma'am?
Can you leave copies, the hard copies that you have?
Yes.
Of the executive order with the clerk's office, please?
Ms. Foster, is this appropriate from the Corporation Counsel's office?
Good afternoon, council members. Angela
I'm
Foster.
sorry, I can't hear you.
Good afternoon, council members. Angela Foster, First Assistant Corporation Counsel. Captain Crystal has brought forth an issue concerning one of his members. We are presently in litigation pertaining to that, so if there's any questions pertaining to this particular member, it would have to be under executive session. We're also looking into the issues that he brought up. I know that the law has that the city is supposed to engage in what's called reasonable accommodation and a reasonable discussion with that individual who is suffering from a disability. We'd have to first know what the disability is to then engage in that discussion. We're conducting our own investigation to learn what the disability is, for whether it's this particular member or anyone else, and then the city can engage in discussions. Like I indicated, if you want additional information, it would have to be under
Thank you. The term lawsuit was mentioned by Mr. Crystal, and while no names were mentioned, there are people who are aware of this particular circumstances. And so, in my humble opinion, it is not appropriate for the public, but for an executive session.
Madam President.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Just the basic question. Are we in the process of setting up that commission that was mandated with the executive order that Mayor Sharp James put into place? Because I think one of the underlying issues that Mr. Crystal said was, even if it's not his member, there are other members that are staff that this may impact. So is the law department working with personnel, with the administration, to set up that kind of commission and reinstitute it?
Councilwoman, Captain Crystal cited something from 1992. We are certainly looking into this. My understanding of the law, in terms of the case law, concerns us dealing with identifying what the disability is and having discussions. In terms of a committee, we're doing research to see whether or not that is still applicable to this day.
Because we do have people who have disabilities. We have the gentleman who comes before us on quite a few occasions that is wheelchair bound. I know that was one of the issues that the late Councilman, Assemblyman Donald Tucker used to have, and fought Mayor James very vigorously in regards to having to be placed in a wheelchair because of having had a stroke. So I would just think it would be a process that the city would put into place so in the future, if anything comes up like this, we can resolve it for those who suffer from any type of disability, not this specific case.
Okay, and we certainly do that. And like I mentioned, when someone does have a disability, under the law, we're supposed to engage in a discussion to find out what's a reasonable accommodation. So you mentioned someone being in a wheelchair. What's the reasonable accommodation for the city to do to make sure that that person can perform his or her duties, have a ramp, have accessibility in terms of their desk, etc. Once that disability we're informed of that disability, part of the process is to engage in discussion with that person to find out what kind of accommodation we can provide. So
But
to answer your
instead of doing it on
question,
an individual basis, case by
Does happen
case,
on yes.
so are we in the process of reinstituting that type of commission so
We're
that
looking
it does
into that,
exist?
Yes.
Thank you.
So we will continue this conversation. It is critical, no doubt about it. The next speaker, Mr. Clerk?
Rizal Gilmore.
Not appearing.
Donald Jackson.
I think I saw him come in.
Good afternoon, Donald Jackson, 79 Tracy Avenue.
Good afternoon.
Newark, New Jersey.
Good afternoon.
So, I read an article, and it talked about the Newark watershed, and of course we all know this by now. When in 2014, State Comptroller's report found that the agency was siphoning millions of public dollars. Linda Watkins, Bashir, Donald Bernard, Martinez Brooks, and quite a few others have either been convicted and sentenced or convicted and waiting sentencing, while Senator Booker goes on with life. I brought that story up to fast forward to what we currently face, and I have an honest question, and I believe that honesty is the best policy. I believe in being honest with myself as an individual, and also believe in people being honest with themselves. Do some people honestly think they should be reelected? And that's a serious question. And let me just say, I understand that people get caught, and good people get caught in bad situations. Mr. Thomas, who came up before us over sanitation, I think he's an outstanding person, hard, dedicated worker. I've known him for quite a while. With that being said, this isn't personal, but we're lacking simple, in my opinion, services. Recycling pickup, street cleaning, something that should just take a phone call. This block didn't get swept up. Okay, not a problem. Or this house, or this unit, or this block didn't get garbage pickup. Why are we constantly coming back to this mic talking about the same things? I don't know if everyone on this council is upset as I am, and I'm not trying to place any blame, but let's be real. Let's be real. 4 years later, where are we? It is so much corruption, mismanagement going on that I'm surprised no one tried to take the dome off of City Hall. And I mean this with all respect. People who have been associated in City Hall have been convicted of wire fraud, tax evasion, and we just walk around like ain't nothing wrong and everything is all right. 4 years later. It amazes me. 5 years ago, we'd have been in the street. We'd have blocked up Broader Market. We'd have been here rallying. We'd have been at the county rallying. Why do we act like Why do we act so complacent? Things are not okay. You can't get your recycling picked up in 2018? Is that serious? People not getting paid. That's been going on for a very long time. And that sounds like the defense that this administration gives every time someone brings up a legitimate complaint. That has been going on for years. But why is it okay? Why is it okay? Why is it okay that this city is out of compliance with civil service law, labor law? Why is it okay? Why do we have to accept this as the norm? I wrote down so much stuff, but at this point, I don't understand. Someone once told me, very recently, don't blame the appointee, right? So we talked about Jack Kelly and how he couldn't answer questions. We talk about how sanitation is like this. We talk about how the police department is like this. We talk about how the fire department is like this. But these are the administration's, the mayor's appointees. So if you don't move a person, or if you continue the same thing to go on, you must be in agreement with it. We must be in agreement with mediocrity. We must be in agreement with incompetency. And I'm not understanding it. The same thing over and over again. We talking about street sweeping for 2 months now. And I hate to harp on this. I really do. But honestly, when residents call with a complaint, and I know because I've called some of your offices, you've got to be bombarded with calls and you've got to be tired about hearing the same thing. So I'm going to get off the mic. I just really want everyone to be serious and really ask themselves, do they deserve to be reelected?
Thank you. Next speaker, Mr. Clerk.
Donna Jackson.
1, 2.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Donna Jackson,
It's
128
almost
Smith Street.
3.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we all awake.
Oh, this morning somewhere.
Make sure we all out here in the same madness, because this is madness. Mr. Thomas should not have to stand up here and justify nothing. He just got there. We talked all this yin-yang, Mr. Baraka, and I could talk about you because I've been in the street with you for 20 years, and I don't care who don't like it. But this ain't the plan we came up with 5 years ago. This, what you doing right here, this your own ego. You want to be a movie star? Go call Corey. He got some people you could call, because this ain't about being in the limelight. This ain't about calling your friends across the country, because can't nobody save you right now, because the proof is in what we're living. These streets are hell. They are. Y'all know it because your phones are ringing. We ain't abated for the rats in this city in over 10 years. Guess what? We blame Corey and Rance, we blaming you because you still didn't do it. Y'all didn't make them do it. You got code enforcement going out, shutting these stores down, closing down their storage things behind their black. How I know about it? Because we got the rats on Smith Street. They done burrowed over underneath at least 15 homes on Smith Street, and we going through it. People got to get their sewer lines repaired. Ain't covered by the city. Y'all knew public service was putting these new gas lines in. What this council do? Oh, we're not responsible for the homeowner's sewer line no more from 3 feet out the curb. Why you do that? Why you do that? Because you're going to let public service do whatever they want to do, and they broke the water main on Smith Street 3 times. But you did it. You did it. You and Raz. And I know all of you. We come to this mic every month. Nothing changes. I want to know what he's going to do with the $18 million. What you need $18 million for, Raz? We just gave you $167 million to cover the city's budget for 3 months. Why you need $18 million more? You ain't paid the street sweeper, man. And I don't have a problem with us bringing stuff in-house, but we got to be ready. And we ain't ready.
You buying all these Dodge trucks and all this, you riding around in the Lamborghini, getting the car washed every week that you driving in, Mr. Baraka. But when the last time we washed the garbage trucks? When the last time we washed them? When the last time the sanitation workers got a raise? Not a bonus, a raise. Everybody else in the country getting 2%. We ain't gave North workers nothing. And I had to tell these people, take your pay stub and go with your taxes and look over your amount of money you have earned in the last 10 years. It's the same. That's insanity. Y'all think the same? How do you allow your people who work in your offices to remain at the same salary for 10 years? Milk $8. Eggs was $7 at one point when we was going through this thing. Come on. Are y'all serious? How greedy we gonna be? And if it don't apply, let it fly. But you know, hey, the glue is sticking, ain't it? Because we don't care. Unfortunately, and fortunately for you, most of y'all got 2 jobs. And it's meeting like everything, ain't they? Put yourself in the position of the families that work here. You're building all this downtown for who? Who? We can't move in there. You got people making $60,000, $70,000 that live in North. They still can't move in this crap downtown. How many eviction notices on these buildings downtown already? How many people getting put out? Because y'all thought they could come in here and pay this little $2,000. And you thought they want to sleep with this boom, boom, bang, bang. Ha! But we can keep everybody safe going to the arena. Then you ask these guys over here to leave the private company. They making $23.50 an hour to sweep the streets. They all North residents. They got full benefits. And you ask them to come back and work for the city for $17 and no benefits? What doctor their kids going to? When they fall outside, where they going to? So I don't got a problem, but we need to look across the state. Mr. Baraka, you need to pay attention to the mayor in New York, bruh. You need to read Adam Clayton Powell again, Mr. Black Power, know everything, because evidently, bruh, you done lost all of that. When these white folks wrote you a couple of checks, Raz, when you sat down with Sweeney, Fulop, and Norcross, Joe D., and the mafioso of the North Jersey, you lost your mind. Because we've been fighting these people forever. We know the corruption at the county. We know it. I don't care who don't like it. We know the corruption. And you just came in after we supported you. Because, see, I supported you. So I could talk about you and tell your minions that they better fall back. Because you have no record to run on. And y'all on the Baraka team, you better separate yourself because his failures are your failures.
Well, first of all, Miss Jackson, first of all, I did say that it was something that our workers, the employees, especially those who work here in City Hall, haven't gotten a raise in 10 years when we were going through the budget hearing. So I did put it on the record. You did, Council? Yes. Put it on the record that what was the response from the state auditor? In regards to when we talked about the raises for the staff, those who fall are non-union, those people who work in the clerk's office, those people who work in the council office, what was the response in regards to putting monies in for those people who haven't gotten a raise since 2006?
We couldn't do it. In fact, at one year, they actually took money out of the budget to force us to lay off people. Could you repeat that?
Say that again?
The first year, they actually took money out of the council clerk's budget basically to force us to lay off people, but they did it so late in the year that it was too late for that to happen.
They didn't take it out. We cut our budget.
No, we made cuts of about $1 million, but when the budget went down to the state for their approval, they cut it further.
Okay, so
it wasn't up to us.
In regards to fighting for people getting raises, we've been fighting for that. Now, when Mr. Thomas brings back the cost savings, would we please ask him to address that issue? Are people going to be making less than the people who are making now, and would we be offering cost health care to the workers?
Okay.
On Tuesday, when he comes?
Tuesday.
We will alert him to that. Yes.
Mr. Clerk, several questions have been raised for the director, just to help him out a little bit, because there's been an extensive conversation. If in preparation for our meeting on Tuesday, if your staff would extract from the comments any questions that have been raised by either the community or the council members, so that he can have an opportunity to do the research and give us the information that we need.
Yes, ma'am.
Next speaker.
Mr. Ross.
Derek Ross.
Good afternoon. How y'all doing?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My
name and address.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My name is Derek Ross. I'm from 76 Northmont Avenue, Bradley Court, for those who aren't familiar. I am a MBA student at Rutgers. I would like to start off my discussion with, I don't come here to alienate or point fingers at anybody. I would just start with my story. I would like to share a story. On January 14th, 2018, there was a woman around the age of, in her mid-50s. She was involved in a hit-and-run accident. And a lot of people in the area, particularly the police officers, didn't know that woman was deaf. So for those who don't know, in the Essex County region, we have over 155,000 residents who are hard of hearing or simply deaf. And the reason why I'm bringing up this issue is because a lot of the speeding that goes down on South Orange Avenue, the speeding zone is not being enforced. And one of the things that I would like to bring to the attention of the council is to have people post signs for hard of hearing, particularly in that area, because it is a school zone area. And the reason why I say that, not just in the West Ward district, but throughout the city, because you have a large population that people aren't familiar about. And that's one of the things that I want to bring to the attention. So I won't come and point fingers and say that. I won't come and alienate, but I would like to at least bring justice to that family, because that was a close relative to me, because both of my parents are hard of hearing. Yeah. And I would like to push for that effort to make sure that's just done throughout the city of Newark, not just that particular area, but throughout the whole region.
That's fair enough.
Councilman McCallum.
Hi, thanks for your comments, Mr. Ross. I wasn't aware of this particular incident, but I have an aide back there. If he can get your information, we can talk more, but I'll check into the signage, even to the point if I have to pay for it. But, I hate to hear that something like that happen, but that's reasonable request.
Yes, thank you. I
I'd like
appreciate
to
it.
work with you on that and make sure that it happens.
Okay.
Madam President.
I'm sorry. I noticed her first, and then Councilman Ramos.
Mr. Ross, I'm currently in the process of working with a young lady by the name of Sandy Rivers.
Yes.
Who is doing something, because she brought to my attention that the hearing impaired have a difficult time watching our council meetings, in addition to having access to information. So we are working out something for her for some space in order to be able to communicate with the hearing impaired or the deaf community. So it is correct what you're saying, that we have an extremely large population here in the city of Newark, and most importantly throughout Essex County. And we are going to be working with her to make sure that they're able to access information and be able to hear what's going on at the council meetings in a proper way. They have a whole station that's dedicated to the hearing impaired.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry to cut in, but I would like to be a point person for that, like to advocate on the behalf of that, to make sure that, not to say that you won't do it, but provide a timeline to make sure
Absolutely.
it does happen. Because I am in tune with the deaf community.
And
So,
she is as well, and certainly I will make sure I give you my information as well as Ms. Rivers.
yes, ma'am.
Because she was the one who was alerting me to it.
Councilman Ramos.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. And I would also suggest that we have a conversation with Director Scott from Engineering to discuss the kind of specialized signage that we have available. I have a parent that we work with over the years. She's on Tiffany Boulevard, and she has 2 small children who are autistic, and we were able to install signage in that area. So I'm sure there are other approved signs that traffic and signals can help us with, and if this isn't one of them, then we'll make sure on our end we do what we can to make sure that it is. So,
President, if I may.
let's invite Director Scott at some point.
Absolutely.
So we can loop him into this conversation. He's in charge of engineering, and under engineering we have traffic and signals, and they put up all the signage around the city.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
So, Mr.
Yes.
Ross,
Yes, ma'am.
just for your information, and please share, you said that you are involved with the deaf and hard of hearing community. Getting a sign is no problem. It's really just as easy as making a phone call, as the councilman said, to the Department of, Traffic and Signals. And within 2 or 3 days, you can have your sign installed. We don't limit it to the hard of hearing, autism. I'm a former signer. I taught deaf children. And so it is critical, but it's really easy. Just make the phone call to, I guess, 973-733-6400 and ask for the department, and you will get that. So please share that with the people that may not have the information that you do.
Madam President, if
Yes, Councilman.
Yeah, Mr. Ross, we not only have the hearing impaired, we have the visually impaired. And I requested the other day that we do a study to determine. I went to Ecuador. In Ecuador, they have lights, the signal lights, and they emit a sound when the light is green, so that the people that cannot see hear the sound and can cross without having trouble crossing. So the same can be done for the hearing impaired. Yes. And I believe that should be something that should be a priority to the city if we have that many people that need it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Ross.
It's
Mr.
not-
Ross.
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Osborne, sorry.
Are you saying she was your relative?
She's a close friend of my mother. So
What was her name? Did she
her
live-
name was Elise Grady.
You lived in Garden Spires at one time, right?
Yes, we lived in the Academy Spires.
Yeah, I know her.
175.
I just want to offer my condolences to you and your family, and also say that I know a dear friend of hers, Derek Austin, who was her best friend, passed away a couple of days after she passed away from a broken heart.
Absolutely.
Yes, it was another gentleman in Jersey City. The person, I think it was Umar King, and he was hit, and I think 3 days later, they found who did it. I'm not saying that, I'm not pointing the finger, but what I'm saying is that the reason why I brought up this situation is because think about the common resident that walks to the bus station, that walks to the bus stop or crossing the street. We can get hit at any time, and there's no regard for a taxpayer. And that's all I'm saying.
Now, you should be commended for
Thank
what you
you.
do.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk?
Madam President, that
That's
concludes the list of speakers for this afternoon. The next hearing.
Shockley is here.
Shockley is here. Louis Shockley.
Mr. Shockley.
It actually isn't that easy to get those signs done.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's not, Madam President, because we if that's the case, we tell them people right now it's hard to get the four-way signs done. And
I can only speak for, I can tell you.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then
for
I'm gonna give you a list
For
because
the blind, for the autistic, there was a state mandate that comes from.
It was a signage, but I mean, it's not that easy to get it done here.
You know,
I'm sorry.
The multi-way stop signs, there's.
Oh, I don't know about traffic signs. I'm talking about
Yeah, but these
safety
signs should be
signs.
easy.
Yes, they are. Mr. Shockley, I'm sorry, I did not see you.
I'm up on the city council.
Sorry for my tardiness. Louis Shockley, 86 Napoleon Street, Newark. Just a reminder, just to piggyback off Councilwoman Cheneyfield, it's not just a phone call. You need some documentation. You need some letters to even get an autism sign or to get a hearing impaired sign. You have to bring documentation from the doctor that allows that process to go through. So it's not just a phone call. As you're right, Councilwoman. I just want to say again, where is the BA? Not here. I mean, just total disrespect to the council again. Some of the residents down in the East Ward on my block have been calling frantically about getting street sweeping down on Napoleon. It's the nastiest I've ever seen it. Since I've been living down there for the last 4 years, I've never seen it so filthy. And again, I don't know how this council keep allowing this BA not to be present, not to be here, and not to address the issues that are going on. He blatantly lied to you guys and said that there are periods during the year when we don't sweep streets. That is a blatant lie. And he should be terminated just for that lie. Okay, he told these gentlemen here they were supposed to get paid. You all were here, you heard the conversation. He cut them a check, then they were supposed to make payments. Those payments did not happen. So now, what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to continue to sweep our streets, repair their brooms and all that without getting paid? We would not ask anybody to conduct business in that way. You owe these gentlemen over $1 million. You need to pay them. Okay, but it could be because you guys went out and bought these little brooms, them little white brooms. I don't think they could do 2 dirty blocks of Newark without getting clogged up. Not even 2, okay? You purchased 11 of them, and everybody's hiding that in the ground. That's why they don't have a contract, because you went out and purchased these brooms, you didn't know what you were doing, you didn't check with them, and that's why you couldn't pay them. You can't pay 2 entities at the same time to do the same job. So the council needs to look into that, because there was a presentation done on the sidewalk in front of City Hall with that little thing. Looks like a Tonka toy truck. Ain't no bigger than my car. So I know it can't sweep no streets, not no dirty streets in the city of Newark. That might be good for Glen Ridge, that might be good for Belleville, but it ain't good for Newark. Okay? So, you know, you guys need to stop these lies. And again, I just want to know, with everything that's going on in this city, the crime, the filthy, everything, you guys got time to go to Puerto Rico and take photos with the mayor, you know, with the really? Joe D and all of them, like I said, the emperor has no clothes, and he's running around here butt naked, and y'all telling him how fabulous he looks, how beautiful he looks. I'm telling you right now, if I ain't never seen nobody who acts like Donald Trump, is this man on the second floor. He can't take no criticism. Okay, he can't take corrective criticism. He can't stand the pressure, so he starts to blame other people. It's that one's fault. It's this one's fault. It's that one's fault. And I'm a stand up for my brother Khalif Thomas. I hope it don't get him in no trouble, because it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Okay, he's an excellent man. He's been doing the job as best he can. You guys got no equipment. You keep buying all these offshoot products, and what are you going to do about the repair parts when the company goes out of business? What are you going to do? We got stuck like that a couple years ago. You should remember that, Cheneyfield. You know, we got stuck when we bought these things from Japan or whatever, and then when they go out of business in Switzerland, then you can't get the repair trucks done, you know? But the city needs to really take a hard look, and again, I hope everybody saw the Star Ledger today. Now they running down the Housing Authority. So, you know, they check it out there. I still want to know, how is it a topographical error, you know, to give somebody campaign contributions? I don't know how that could be a misnomer. The check went to the account, okay? He got the count. He got the money. So since when does Housing Authority give money to campaign contributions? Since when? And that needs to be followed up, and that needs to be investigated. And I will be writing personal letters to the FBI to pursue that matter, and to pursue all the chicanery that's going on down at Housing Authority. You got a worker down there, been out of work for 3 years, and you guys haven't paid them. 3 years. no determination. You got the crooks up there at the county, because all those judges up there at the county are crooks too. Yanira Cortez still has not gotten a date for her Superior Court. We just got her out of landlord-tenant court. Now she's in Superior Court, and she still hasn't had a date to deal with the problems over there at 86 Brunswick Street. So council got a lot to deal with. And for those who are on the Baraka team, silence is complicit. If you are silent about what's going on, then you are actively complicit in those acts. Okay? If I rob a bank with somebody, if me and somebody else rob a bank, that person is just as guilty as I am for robbing the bank. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk.
Madam President, that concludes the list of speakers for this afternoon.
No motion?
The next hearing of citizens will take place at the Public Council meeting of Wednesday, February the 21st, beginning at 6:30 p.m. here in the council chamber.
Mr. Clerk, Ms. Opal Wright is appearing. I did not see her.
Opal R. Wright?
Yes. Did she come to your office? I told her to come see me.
Come see me for what?
I wanted to talk to all the council members. I told her.
Go ahead, Opal.
Yes, my name is Opal Allright, 31 Vanderpool Street in Newark, and I'm here this afternoon speaking before the council people. I'm consulting on the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, the provisions to qualify citizens concerning distribution. On the adoption specifically, there's the certification or acceptance, I should say, by the state legislature. We'd like to have the concurrent resolution adopted and see that appear on our Newark Municipal website. I believe this would be able to pretty much proceed quickly with our funds being dispersed to the qualified citizens. If the department, the people who are our recipients in the departments and agencies throughout the state of New Jersey would be able to sit down and begin to, or at least locally, be able to sit down and I would say discuss with the more recent, resolution to the government. I think they believe that the governor said that they declined, so we should be at the understanding with the municipal website showing that the adoption is there. Even if we mention what has the first monies that were dispersed to the different departments and agencies, there's an understanding that the acceptance is there, that the acceptance has been adopted, but the actual writing on the municipal website would give more, I believe it would have a legal, more positive, it would influence us to go ahead and speak of what is current, what we're doing or what we're accepting, and the distribution that we're expecting. We can at least go ahead and speak on that. The state legislature is pretty much our, well, many times I've tried to maybe look for legal assistance, and that's not there. But by this legislative body providing this concurrent resolution, with it documented, we would be able to at least feel that we're speaking about the funds, not just from the, just the citizens or the residents, but we're speaking with the state legislature's acceptance that this distribution be provided to the qualified citizens. So I will go ahead and try and speak as soon as this adoption is on, or have appeared on the website. I would go ahead and try and speak with the mayor about distribution of all funds to the qualified citizens, to the point where we have applications that we can go ahead, because I can see that the applications to the applicants coming into your office, all of that would be something that would be probably, I'm sure you probably handle it well, but if we have the mayor's involvement, I'm sure that the departments and all of the agencies would be able to find a location or find time during the day to accept in a very expedient manner, or expedient in the way they handle their responsibilities, rather than see a cluster or have a problem with making sure that each of the citizens are served or provided for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Mr. Clerk?
I just have one motion.
Okay. Oh, you're going to be first.
I have one, too. All right.
I was going to make you first
Okay,
today.
thank you.
Mr. Clerk, I do believe that completes the list.
That completes the list of speakers. Motions, council motions?
Oh, no. Excuse me, who's this?
Hi. Roy Arena with Dejana Industries.
Oh,
I was
is it?
wondering if I have an opportunity to speak to the council.
He's a vendor?
Yes.
Not on the list.
This is our hearing of citizens, not vendors.
So I can't have an opportunity.
So Tuesday,
Yeah, the special, come back.
on Tuesday, Mr. Clerk, were you invited to come to this meeting?
No, I was not.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, would you have your staff handle this so that they know to come back on Tuesday?
On business days, when we have our business council meetings, you have to have sign up in advance.
Yes.
The only time that you can come up to the microphone and speak without having signed up in advance is on Tuesdays when we have a special.
So would I be able to sign up today for the next Tuesday special?
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Please forgive me. Mr. Clerk, would you check the calendar? I was just reminded that Monday is a holiday.
The meeting next week is Wednesday, the 17th.
So the meeting is
The 14th, Wednesday, the 14th.
Wednesday at 10.
At 10 a.m.
on Wednesday.
Yes.
Please make sure that they're notified.
What holiday?
Lincoln.
Lincoln?
Lincoln.
Okay.
What is it? It's
Lincoln's birthday.
President's Day.
President's Day?
February, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry that you sat through our meeting. Mr. Clerk, I'm sorry, Councilman James.
I'd just like us all, through the clerk, for the city to send a letter of sorrow and regret for the family of Tiffany Wilson, I mentioned earlier.
Right. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call. Roll call.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Councilwoman?
A letter of sorrow and regret to the Dowdy family for the sudden passing of Miss Gina Harding, longtime South Ward resident, very instrumental in doing the Easter egg hunt that used to take place in Weequahic Park, and family member of the Dowdys. Was found yesterday, unfortunately. So sorrow and regrets to that family. Councilman James seconded. You know Gina Harding?
Yes. I heard about it.
Yes. The other thing is, I just want to say, Africa brought up something in regards to trying to do a coat distribution, and because it was coming from my office, some folks were told that it couldn't be done. I would hope that everyone that is listening, especially to our senior citizens who I've been told, allegedly, have been informed that their voting rights are being violated by being told if you do not vote for a certain person or a certain team, or if you do something, that you could be in danger of losing your apartment. That is absolutely far from the truth, and no one here will condone that type of action towards any senior citizen, or see it happen to any senior citizen, because we stand on your shoulders in Black History Month because you all stood for us. And so for any senior citizen who has been threatened, allegedly, that you could lose your apartment, that is an absolute lie. No one can determine who you vote for once you go behind that screen. It is behind the curtain. It is your right to vote for who you want to vote for, and you will not lose your apartment. So please, if someone tells you that, make sure you report them to the proper authorities. If it's happening in Newark Housing Authority, the FBI have been down there yesterday, and I'm sure they ain't leaving no time soon, like they're here in this building. So make sure you call the Attorney General. Make sure you call and report if anyone threatens anyone for for voting the way they want to vote. But make sure you report it. Too many lives were lost and too much of a struggle. And I'm sure my council colleagues join me in saying that no senior citizen should be intimidated, bullied, or told that they could lose their apartment over an election. That is disgusting, and that is intimidation at the highest form to the frailest and the most seasoned people on whose shoulders we stand. You voted for a Kenneth Allen Gibson to get here. You voted for a Sharp James to get here. You voted for a Cory Booker to get here. You voted for a Raz Baraka to get here. So for any senior citizen or family that's being told you can't vote for somebody, that is not the Constitution of the United States, and that's not what Newark was built on. It was built on the ability to have representation that look like you. So I'm sure my council colleagues will reiterate to any senior citizen or family that's being told that. This last thing I would like to say is that when we talk about the cleanliness of our city, it is not to say that Director Thomas is not doing a great job, but we have to be realistic. There is not one of us who have not gotten phone calls, and there's not one of us who don't drive down the streets and see how filthy they are. So we have to address that issue. We cannot pretend that it's not happening. We cannot pretend that there are issues that are hurting the image of our city, and one of them is being filthy. So I look forward to Tuesday's meeting, in which Director Thomas will be able to give us the information and give us the plan, because we should not have to call him and make complaints in regards to what streets need to get fixed as far as trash picked up. And yes, he is responding, but it should be on a regular cycle like it once was, whether it's sanitation, trash removal, whether it's street sweeping, or whether it's recycling. We need a standard procedure, whether it's bulk. We need to know, because the residents need to know, because they are the ones who are calling their council persons. They are the ones who are calling, and they are the ones who are complaining. So we're not here for any vendors, we're here for the residents. And the residents do deserve better. And they were saying to me, and I'm sure they said it to you all, they paid their taxes, came February 1st, and they didn't get a refund. All right, so you paid yours too. So everybody paid. So y'all paid your taxes. All right, so y'all paid your taxes. But I'm sure the residents are saying to you, they didn't get a decrease on their services not being rendered. So that's it, Madam President.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes, Councilman McCallum.
I have a couple of things. I want to commend Khalif Thomas. I think he's doing an excellent job. I understand that he's starting from scratch and that there's things that have been historical in this city that he has to deal with. He talked about the private contracts and the connections and the nepotism and the cronyism that has gone on for years and years and years. I worked at the fire department community relations when I got out of the military, and that was in the 70s, and it was going on then. So not much has changed, but I do commend Director Thomas. I think he has a lot of integrity the way he's approaching his job, and I stand behind him. And I'm glad he did comment on what's going on so that the viewers can see it and understand what is going on, and that we're trying to make changes to improve the city. A lot of things still have to be tweaked, but I stand behind him and I support him, and I'll be working with him. As Councilwoman Cheney-Field Jenkins stated, yeah, we've been taking calls. I had to call for my block a couple of times, and I don't know if it's cleaned yet, but I'm more concerned about other residents getting their blocks done as opposed to mine. My street needs to be paved, needs to be cleaned, and I don't like having to call in and call Khalif, but he does answer the phone, and he does respond any time of the night. So
he does. That's
he does
true.
respond. So at least, we're that far. I want to give a get well message to Mayor Ken Gibson. He's been under the weather. I spoke to his wife, Camille, the other day, and I think he's doing better now, but we wish him the best. I hope he's back home. I'll check when I get home, but one more thing. Tuesday, February the 13th, at Speedway Academy, 701 South Orange Avenue, we're having a first community meeting for Partnership West Incorporated, which is the West Ward Business Improvement District. We're inviting all merchants and all residents. We're going to be talking about the things that'll take place, people sweeping on South Orange Avenue and the other corridors, 18th Avenue, Sanford Avenue, Mount Vernon, about receptacles, about facades. So we'll be working wholeheartedly with the merchant community, and it's a quality of life measure. And I'm just real proud that we were able to implement this business improvement district in the West Ward, because the West Ward never had one. So we have the budget in place, which is $500,000, and we're going to be using that to the best of our abilities to improve the quality of life for our residents in the West Ward. Again, that'll be Tuesday, February the 13th at 5:30 at Speedway Academy School, and at 701 South Orange Avenue. Hope to see you there. That's all I have.
Second by Councilman Osborne. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes, Councilman Osborne.
Yeah, I got two announcements. On the week of March 26th through April 6th, both the Steam Fitters Local 475 plus the Plumbers Union Local 24 will be taking applications for memberships. If you need more information on that, you can either call my office at 973-733-3794 or go down to the mayor's office of affirmative action. That's the Steam Fitters Local 475 and the Plumbers Local number 24. The Plumbers Local is located in Fairfield, which is ain't too hard to get to, but the Steam Fitters are down in Warren Township. And if I'm not mistaken, the last time they held a class, Mr. Dave Muhammad's office was able to help some residents get transportation down there. But it's worth looking into. It's good career opportunity jobs there. And the second thing, in regards to the statement that the FBI was at the North Carolina Authority yesterday, I was down there yesterday for the greater part of the afternoon before we went to a tenant meeting at 3 o'clock. Didn't see no FBI in the building. Got a phone call from Star Ledger this morning asking about it. Called the director. He didn't know nothing about it. They was checking around to see if they were in the building. They didn't talk to anybody. No one, the security guards, no one physically saw them. So I don't know. Maybe they were there. But all I can say is that you got a lot of people down at the Housing Authority working very hard to serve the residents of North Housing. And to have a stigma put on them that is something going on down there is not true. Like I said, that's all I got to say on that.
Second,
Second.
Councilman Ramos. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Councilman Ramos.
Thank you, Madam President. I listed one of my motions earlier, and that's the
Yes, you
amendment
did.
that I'm proposing to the earned sick leave ordinance. So again, I'd like to see that on the agenda as soon as possible. The second motion is a note of congratulations to the North Ward Center. Last night I had the opportunity to participate in their award ceremony for their
Where
youth
is it?
basketball program at the Robert Treat Academy. We started with that program some years back, and we barely had 50 youngsters in the program, and last night we gave out awards to close to 400 young people who participated in that league. And they're just not young people from the North Ward. We had parents and families from the Central Ward, West Ward, South Ward, and I'm very proud of how that recreation department has grown and is providing outstanding services. And we've got some very big plans when it comes to youth basketball in the ward, which I'm hopeful we will be able to announce sometime soon. I just want to make a statement related to the issue of, street sweeping and cleanliness. I think all of us up here share or have shared in the frustration. And, as I've done for the last 11 years, we've been very hands-on in identifying problems. I commend Director Thomas for always picking up the phone, returning my text message. And something that I've always said while I'm up here is that our directors need the tools that they need to be successful. And that means they need access to resources, they need access to staff, they need access to contracts. And besides the Public Safety Department, one of the most important departments that interfaces with residents in our city is our Public Works Department, former Neighborhood Services. And we need to make sure that as a newly minted director, Director Thomas has all the support in place that he needs to be successful. Because ultimately, our inability to provide services to our residents is a failure and a reflection on all of us. Despite politics, despite where we may stand in a particular election, every person up here shares their commitment to the people that they represent. And when there's a street sweeping date that's missed or bulk pickup isn't picked up, we all share in that frustration. So I just want to, on one end, show my support to Director Thomas, but at the same time, really send a message to our mayor and the administrator that he needs to have access to the support to be a successful director. Because the more successful he is, the better services we're going to deliver to the people we represent.
Absolutely.
Is there a second?
Second.
Several seconds.
Yeah.
Roll call.
We all second that.
Yeah.
That's
Collins absent, James absent, Channing Jenkins.
Yes.
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 Yes. First, let me thank the officers of the day. They are critical to having a meeting where business takes place. And I want to thank them for moving quickly. We had a wonderful meeting today. And I share the results of that meeting with the officers of the day. Just a reminder that on Monday, February the 26th, I sent out an email. The council will be sponsoring a Black History Month program here in the council chambers. I've asked each council member to select a living legend that you could do Sissy again. To select a living legend so that we can honor them for longevity, etc. It's 5:30 to 7:30. There is no charge. It is free. And we certainly invite the greater Newark community to observe this program as we observe Black History Month. Congratulations to Councilman Eddie Osborne, who has been elected chair of the Housing Authority's board.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I was there. Now take that. That's it, Mr. Clerk. Is there a second?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call.
Roll call.
You can have that one.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Donna absent, Ramos.
Yes.
President Crump.
Yes, indeed. Thank
Council as a
you,
whole to
everybody.
adjourn?
I need to tell you we did it in
Roll call.
actually 3 hours.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Ramos. Ramos.
Yes.
President Crump.
Yes, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Well, that was a nice meeting.